Loretta Picard was 76 years old and lived in Polk County, Florida. She was home alone on a quiet evening while recovering from hip surgery. This medical procedure left her unable to move without great effort. Her husband was not there because he was out with our young ones. The neighborhood felt peaceful until about 7 p.m. I feel terrible that she was in such a vulnerable state when the disaster began. Loretta woke up and smelled smoke inside her house. Initially, she could not tell where the danger was coming from. She knew she could not escape because her body would not let her get up. She grabbed her phone and called 911 for help. The dispatcher told her to stay on the line and that rescuers were coming.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Pardon?
911, what is the address of your emergency? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I think my house is on fire, and I'm here alone, and I'm on a walker.
Okay. All right, I have help on the way. I just have a couple of questions, okay?
Okay.
All right, just to help the the firefighters, excuse me.
Hurry up.
Okay, these questions are not going to delay paramedics in any way. Okay, what type of building is involved?
It's a log house with a tin roof. But it's coming from the roof, I think. I don't know.
Okay, I have help on the way, okay? These questions are not delaying the firefighters at all, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, I do have them coming. All right, I'm sending the fire department to help you now. Stay on the line, and I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
What should I do?
Okay, is anyone trapped inside the building?
Well, I'm inside the house. I don't even know if I can get out.
Okay, all right, I have them coming as quickly as possible, okay? How many?
It's just me.
Okay.
I mean, my husband's at the ball game, and I can't get him. I'll try his cell phone.
Okay, exactly where are you located? No, inside the home. Exactly where are you located inside the home?
Right now I'm in the living room. The smoke's getting bad.
Okay, if it's safe to do so, leave the building, close the doors behind you, and remain outside. Do not try to put the fire out. Do not carry anything. Do not carry out anything that's on fire.
Couldn't, honey, if I wanted to. I'm on a walker, and I can't hardly walk.
Okay. All right, well, I do have them coming as quickly as possible, okay, so just let me know when you see them. Okay, where exactly is the fire?
On the roof, I think.
Okay. Okay, is anyone injured?
No, I'm the only one here. I'm not injured, but my eyes are so smoke. My lungs, I can't get out the door.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I have them coming, okay? They're coming as quickly as possible, lights and sirens, okay?
Okay.
Loretta spent 15 minutes begging for someone to save her life. The sound of the fire eating her home played in the background of the call.
Oh, I see fire now.
Okay.
Oh, you hear them?
Yes, they're here. They're there. I'm letting them know exactly what's going on, okay? They are there.
Okay.
I promise they are right there. It's just they have to make their way into you, okay?
Okay, but they better run. Come in here. I'm inside.
Okay, stay on the line with me, okay? What's your husband's name? Hello? 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 Hello?
Eventually, Loretta went silent while the dispatcher was still talking. The details that emerged later about the rescue attempt are truly disturbing. Firefighters were actually standing just a few feet away from the front door. The captain, James Williams, told his crew to ignore the house for a long time. They used their entire supply of water to fight a tiny brush fire in the woods. James Williams allegedly spent time recording Snapchat videos instead of helping. There were no fire hydrants near the property that night. The crew had a limited amount of water in their truck and wasted it. Witnesses said almost no effort was made to enter the building to find Loretta.
On your side has been investigating all year long. Loretta Pickard died in her burning Lakeland home, pleading for help, but firefighters stood by and did nothing about it. Well, now her estate will receive the maximum amount of money allowed under state law. 8 on your side, Stacy DeSilva reports from Polk County.
I find it disgusting that a person in charge would act with such a quick lack of concern. This is why I always check if my smoke detectors have fresh batteries. You should also have a plan for how to get out of your home if you are ever injured. James Williams was fired from the department after the truth came out. The family was struck by a loss that no amount of money could ever fix. They received a $200,000 settlement from the county. Would you be able to forgive the people who stood by while your home burned? A swift decision to enter the house could have changed everything for Loretta. Her memories and her life are gone because of a series of terrible choices. In the vast world of digital content, a creator's public persona can often mask a terrifying private reality. This was never more apparent than in the case of a New Jersey-based content creator named Vincent Belloro, whose final broadcast stands as a chilling record of a killer's psychological detachment. Operating under the handle VinnyBad118, Belloro had been a steady presence on YouTube since 2021, primarily attracting a niche audience by streaming sports titles like MLB The Show. However, on the evening of September 30, 2025, anyone who happened to click on his live broadcast would have witnessed a scene that was far from a normal gaming session. The atmosphere in the stream was thick with tension, not because of the gameplay, but because of the viewers in the live chat. People were bombarding Belloro with increasingly alarming questions, asking if he was prepared to go to prison or how he planned to sustain his lifestyle behind bars. Others were much more blunt, calling him a killer over and over again. To an outside observer, this might have looked like typical internet harassment, but the truth was far more sinister. Vincent was hosting this casual stream less than 24 hours after he allegedly murdered 2 teenage girls in a nearby community, acting as if he didn't have a single care in the world. The incident that sparked this outrage took place on September 29th, shortly before 5:30 p.m. 2 local youngsters, 17-year-old Maria Neotis and her friend Isabella Salas, were enjoying an afternoon riding e-bikes through a quiet residential section of Cranford, New Jersey. Without warning, they were struck by a vehicle traveling at high speed. The sound of the collision was so massive that it drew residents out of their homes in a desperate attempt to help, but the damage was done.
Calls to police sounded like moments after Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were mowed down by a black SUV driven by another teenager.
There's a girl on the road and there's a car. Oh my God, please hurry.
So there's 2 females?
By the time emergency responders reached the scene, both Maria and Isabella had already passed away. The details of the crash were particularly gruesome. Forensic investigators later determined that the vehicle was traveling at nearly 70 miles per hour, an incredible speed for a residential street with a strict 25 miles per hour limit. The violence of the impact was so extreme that it sent the youngsters flying. One of the victims was discovered nearly 100 feet away from the initial point of contact. Eyewitnesses reported that the driver initially tried to flee in the car, but the collision had actually lodged one of the e-bikes into the vehicle's frame, disabling it. This forced the driver to abandon the car and escape on foot, leaving behind the evidence that would eventually lead police straight to Vincent Belloro. When investigators first questioned the 17-year-old Vincent, he was actually allowed to go home that same night. At that stage, the police lacked definitive evidence of who was behind the wheel and were treating the tragedy as a horrific accident. However, the case took a dark turn when Maria Neotis' family provided context that suggested the crash was anything but accidental. They revealed that Vincent had been stalking and systematically harassing Maria for several months. The two were students at the same school, and their relationship was defined by a history of conflict and intimidation. Vincent's behavior had reportedly escalated significantly about a month before the crash after Maria reported his conduct to school administrators. Neighbors had seen him parked outside her house on multiple occasions, and he had allegedly weaponized the authorities against her family by making false police reports that led to them being swatted several times. Perhaps most damning was Vincent's own digital history. In previous streams, times. He openly discussed his vengeance against Maria and admitted to using a dedicated phone specifically to facilitate her harassment.
What we're gonna do? I think Maria's hungry. I think we're gonna send her a pizza. Cheer her up. So, y'all know I have a vengeance against this girl. I'm gonna call a pizza to her house, and here's how I'm gonna do it.
Further investigation into Vincent's home life painted a picture of a youngster who was spiraling out of control. His own parents had called the police on 4 separate occasions in the months leading up to the crime, reporting that his behavior had become increasingly violent and erratic. It appeared that his deep-seated resentment toward Maria had reached a boiling point, leading to the theory that he deliberately targeted her with his vehicle, with Isabella being tragic collateral damage in his twisted pursuit of revenge. While the police were building their case, Vincent had the audacity to go live on YouTube, attempting to maintain a veneer of normalcy as his viewers confronted him with the details of the crime. He tried to dismiss the reality as mere drama or hate comments. He spoke in vague coded language, likely hoping to avoid a legal admission of guilt, while still relishing the attention the incident was bringing to his channel.
In a neighboring town, unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now, there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting. But when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
Ultimately, it was a combination of old-fashioned detective work and modern technology that brought him down. Investigators recovered ring camera footage from a neighboring street that clearly showed Vincent speeding through the area just moments before the girls were hit, and later captured him walking back toward his home on foot. Armed with this video evidence and the testimonies of traumatized witnesses, the police arrested Baloro on October 1st. He now faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, and his digital footprint has been erased as YouTube terminated his channel. Prosecutors are now moving to ensure that he is tried as an adult, seeking the maximum possible sentence for a crime that was as calculated as it was cruel. Ahmad Mia, 17, is seen riding his bike in the Leighton neighborhood of London, England. He had on a thick jacket with a hood up and a surgical mask covering his face. He is making a conscious effort to conceal his identity. Mia seems to take something out of his pants when he gets off his bike. He then recognizes his target, Ghulam Sadiq, 18, turns the bend on his way home. He makes a valiant effort to escape as he is aware that he is in danger. Unfortunately, he is unable to flee. Shortly after, Ghulam Sadiq is fatally stabbed. Was this a violent incident committed at random? Not in the police's opinion. Although the precise motivation is yet unknown, they claim Mia meticulously planned the attack and traveled for more than 2 hours to ambush Sadiq. The judge in this case was shocked that Mia was able to lawfully purchase a zombie knife online. The judge stated during the sentencing that knife violence in general is becoming a plague of our society, but that people can currently obtain weapons like that, adding, "It's really quite shocking." She then sentenced him to life in jail with a minimum of 19 years before he could be released from prison.
I'm recording this because I want my daughter to know that I love you, Mackenzie Pascal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me.
On October 21st, 2020, a 48-year-old man named Trent Pascal uploaded a final chilling video to his YouTube channel. Prior to this date, Pascal's digital footprint was that of an unremarkable suburban father. His content was a typical blend of family vlogs, home improvement advice, and reviews of remote-controlled toys. To his small audience, he appeared to be a relaxed, middle-aged dad who cherished time with his young ones. However, the footage he released that October was a jarring departure from his wholesome persona. It wasn't a DIY tip or a toy review. It was a cold, calculated confession recorded after he had committed an unthinkable act of violence. A video designed specifically to manipulate the narrative and frame himself as the true victim of the tragedy. The day began with a volatile confrontation between Trent and his wife, Savannah. While the exact catalyst for the dispute remains a mystery, investigators and acquaintances pointed toward Trent's suffocatingly overprotective and jealous nature. He was reportedly deeply insecure about the 18-year age gap between himself and Savannah, viewing nearly every person she interacted with as a potential threat. This obsession with control had led to years of friction within the marriage. On that fateful morning, the argument became so intense that Savannah gathered their youngsters, dropped them off at school, and fled to her mother Shirley's residence in Lamar, Texas, seeking a safe haven. Neighbors witnessed Trent storming out of his own home shortly thereafter, his rage clearly hitting a breaking point. Later that day, around noon, Savannah and Shirley returned to the house after checking on the young ones. Shirley headed toward the master bedroom to gather herself, completely unaware that a predator was lying in wait. As she entered the bathroom, Trent lunged from behind the shower curtain, brandishing a firearm. In a terrifying moment of clarity, he declared his intent to end both of their lives and pulled the trigger. By some miracle, he missed Shirley, providing her a split-second window to sprint to a neighbor's house and contact emergency services. Savannah, however, could not escape. Trent shot her twice in the abdomen before fleeing the scene in a blind panic. She was transported to a nearby hospital, but despite the best efforts of medical staff, she succumbed to her injuries shortly after. While Savannah was fighting for her life, Trent was busy uploading a confession to a secondary, now deleted YouTube channel. In the video, he leaned into a narrative of betrayal, accusing Savannah of infidelity and claiming that her actions had forced his hand. To anyone watching, the performance was transparently fraudulent. He attempted to cry several times for the camera, but his eyes remained dry and his voice lacked any genuine grief. The accusations of cheating were widely dismissed as the delusions of a controlling man, but more importantly, they offered zero justification for the homicide he had just carried out. The most bone-chilling detail of the video occurs at the very end. The audio captures a faint plastic rustling sound, hauntingly similar to the sliding of a shower curtain, followed by Trent hearing a noise and immediately scurrying into a dark corner to hide. This suggests that he was actually recording his victim's statement inside Shirley's home while waiting for his wife and mother-in-law to arrive, essentially filming a pre-murder manifesto while crouching in the very spot where he would soon ambush them. Following the shooting, Trent fled Lamar, sparking a massive statewide manhunt. He was eventually cornered by police in a Walmart parking lot in Houston later that evening. Rather than surrendering, he drew his weapon on the officers, ignoring repeated commands to stand down. The confrontation ended when deputies opened fire, striking him multiple times in the stomach. Trent survived the shootout and spent over a month in a hospital bed under heavy guard. Once recovered, he was booked into the Galveston County Jail on a litany of charges, including murder, aggravated assault, and illegal possession of a firearm. In a shocking turn of events that outraged the community, Pascal was granted the opportunity to post a $550,000 bond. Despite the extreme violence of his crimes, the legal system allowed him to return to his mother's home under the supervision of a GPS ankle monitor while awaiting trial. For a time, he appeared to comply, but on April 13, 2021, he cut off the monitoring device. In a desperate bid for freedom, he went to a local car dealership, took a vehicle for a test drive, and carjacked the salesperson at knife point before vanishing. This triggered a secondary multi-state search involving the U.S. Marshals. For 9 agonizing months, Savannah's family lived in a state of constant terror, knowing that a desperate and armed killer was at large and potentially seeking to finish what he started. The pursuit finally reached its end in January 2022. Acting on a lead, authorities tracked a man matching Pascal's description to an RV park in Ocala, Florida. As federal agents surrounded the van where he was barricaded, Trent chose to take his own life rather than face the consequences of his actions. In the end, his final act of cowardice robbed Savannah's family and our youngsters of ever seeing true justice served in a court of law. Officer Patrick Feaster sat in his patrol car on a very dark and quiet night in California. He was parked near a local bar called a cantina. This place was known for late-night drinking and people driving while impaired. It had been a very slow and uneventful shift for him so far. The air outside was still and the streets were mostly empty. Most people in the town were already asleep in their beds. However, the peace of the midnight hour was about to be broken. A vehicle suddenly tore out of the parking lot at a very high speed. Feaster did not see the car on his dash cam initially, but he saw the motion with his own eyes and decided to act immediately. He hit his emergency lights and started a swift pursuit down the road. Within just a few seconds, he was able to catch up to the speeding vehicle. The car was a large SUV driven by a 26-year-old man named Andrew Thomas. His ex-wife, 23-year-old Darian Aaron, was sitting in the passenger seat. Andrew had been drinking a lot that night and was well over the legal limit. Instead of pulling over for the officer, Andrew tried to get away. The chase did not last very long because the SUV was moving too fast for the road. I feel terrible that Darian was in that car with someone who was making such dangerous choices. The vehicle slammed into center median and began to flip over violently. It rolled several times before coming to a rest on its side in the dirt. The dashcam footage from Feaster's car shows the following details. The SUV is mangled and resting on the driver's side. Darian is thrown through the front windshield and hits the pavement. Dust and debris fill the air around the wreck. Andrew is trapped inside the cabin but is still conscious. Darian was still breathing when the car stopped moving, but she was hurt very badly. Andrew was trying to find a way to get out of the crushed metal. He began to crawl toward a broken window to escape the vehicle. Maybe he was trying to help his ex-wife, or maybe he was just trying to save his own life. This is when Officer Feaster stepped into the frame of the video. His handgun was already out of its holster and pointed at the car. He did not say a single word to the man inside the SUV. He did not give any orders for Andrew to put his hands in the air. Without any hesitation, Feaster fired his weapon 2 times. One of the bullets struck Andrew directly in the neck. The man's body went limp and he collapsed back into the ruins of the car. I feel terrible that he was wounded while he was already suffering from a crash. The video shows that Andrew was not holding a weapon of any kind. He was using both of his hands to pull himself up through the window. There was no threat to the officer at that moment. Feaster walked up to the side of the SUV and looked inside with his flashlight. He stared at the man he had just wounded but did not offer any medical help. More than 10 seconds passed while the officer just stood there in silence. Then he finally picked up his radio to call the dispatch center. He told them his location was at Black Olive and Pearson, but he did not tell them that a gun had been fired at the scene. He told the dispatcher that the driver was refusing to get out of the car. He made it sound like Andrew was being difficult on purpose. Feaster never mentioned that he had struck the man with a bullet. I find it disgusting that someone would hide the truth like that. This is why I think body cameras are so important for every person in uniform. Feaster even started to look at the ground with his light while he waited. Many people believe he was trying to find the shell casings to hide the evidence. A second officer arrived at the scene of the crash a few minutes later. Feaster told the new officer the same lie about the driver refusing to move, but then a voice came from inside the dark wreck of the SUV. Andrew was still conscious and he spoke to the officers on the road. He told them clearly that he had been wounded by a gun. Feaster heard him say this and immediately denied it to his partner. He told the other officer that Andrew was wrong and that no one was wounded.
Yeah, I was right there, I saw it.
Did you get shot at the cantina? Who shot you? The cop did not shoot you.
Andrew repeated himself because he knew he was bleeding heavily. The second officer had no idea what had actually happened in those first few seconds. He saw no gun in Andrew's hands and had no context for his shooting. He assumed that Andrew was just confused because of the car crash. He thought the man might be in shock from the impact of the roll. Feaster continued to walk around the scene and said nothing more to anyone. 5 full minutes passed by while the truth remained hidden. No one on the scene knew that Andrew had a bullet in his body.
Yeah, I know he is. He's in shock at the very least.
The video footage eventually cuts out for a short period of time. We only have the audio from the other officer's body camera during this gap.
I need you to talk to me so I know you're okay. Sir, take a look at me. Did you bump your head?
10 minutes later, the video comes back on as an ambulance arrives. The medics went to help Darian first because she was lying on the cold ground. She was in very critical condition and did not survive her injuries. She was pronounced dead shortly after they arrived at the hospital. Meanwhile, Andrew had been bleeding inside the SUV for 11 minutes. He had not received any medical care for the gunshot wound. Finally, Feaster spoke to the others and said he might have wounded the man.
You hold this scene, Manny, with me. We're going over to the cantina to find out if this guy... I wasn't even pointing at him.
The investigation confirmed that the bullet struck Andrew in the neck. It had paralyzed him the moment it hit his spine. That is why he could not get out of the car when he was told to. His body simply would not move no matter how hard he tried. Andrew stayed alive in the hospital for several weeks before he died on December 19. Feaster claimed that the whole thing was an accident and he did not know he hit him, but the video shows him taking a very clear aim at the driver's window. He also denied the shooting many times while Andrew was begging for help. Feaster was eventually charged and convicted of manslaughter. He only received 180 days in jail for the death of Andrew Thomas. Many people were very angry about this quick legal process. Andrew made a very bad choice to drive while he was drunk, but the officer had no right to fire his weapon without a reason. This is why I always tell people to record their interactions with the police. You should always have a dash cam in your own car to protect your rights. The truth in this case would never have come out without that footage. Do you think 180 days is a fair punishment for an officer who lied about a shooting? I never like seeing stories where the people in power hide their mistakes. It's a sober reminder that life can end in a single second. We must always demand the truth from our public servants. Andrew's family had to fight for a very long time to get any form of justice. Lane Maurice Davis established his digital presence on YouTube as far back as September 2009, operating under the pseudonym Seattle for Truth. While the vast majority of his uploads were eventually purged by the platform for various policy infractions, the core of his content consisted of aggressive right-wing political commentary, long-winded rants regarding global affairs, and elaborate attempts to validate fringe conspiracy theories. Lane's commitment to these ideologies even led him to a brief internship with the controversial British commentator Milo Yiannopoulos, though the professional relationship was short-lived. For most of his adult life, the YouTube channel remained Lane's singular focus. However, despite managing to build a relatively significant following across several social media platforms, his viewership numbers never reached the threshold necessary to generate a livable wage. This lack of financial independence created a stifling living situation. At 33 years old, Lane was forced to remain in his parents' home, relying entirely on them for his basic needs. This dependency became a toxic catalyst for tension within the household. Further complicating matters were the ideological rifts between Lane and his parents. His mother Catherine and his father Charles held political perspectives that clashed sharply with Lane's extremist views. These differences sparked constant, high-volume confrontations. The evening of July 14, 2017 began much like any other, with a heated debate echoing through the house. As the situation grew increasingly volatile, Catherine made the fateful decision to call 911. During that initial call, her tone was composed, almost weary. She explained to the dispatcher, "He's not physically threatening us or anything. He just gets out of control and he's ranting about stuff from the internet. He just lives on the internet and he gets really worked up about everything that's going on. He needs an intervention of some kind here." The dispatcher advised the couple to keep their distance from Lane until officers could arrive to de-escalate the situation. Catherine, however, downplayed the potential for danger, insisting that while these rampages were frequent, they had never turned physical. She believed she was dealing with a frustrated son, not a lethal threat. Tragically, her assessment was proven wrong in a matter of minutes. Catherine was forced to dial 911 for a second time, but the calm mother from the first call was gone. This time, she was in a state of absolute terror, screaming into the receiver that Lane had stabbed his father and repeating the words, "He's dead," in a state of shock. Because police were already en route from the first request for assistance, they arrived at the residence almost immediately. Upon entering, they discovered the grim scene. Charles Davis was lying on the floor, his clothing saturated in blood. Reports later indicated that Lane's aggression had reached a breaking point following the discovery that his mother had called the police. In a fit of rage, he had armed himself himself with a kitchen knife and attacked his father multiple times. Charles was pronounced dead at the scene. It appeared that the reality of his actions set in the moment the violence ended. When the police pulled into the driveway, they found Lane standing outside the front door with his hands raised in the air, silently waiting for the handcuffs. In the legal proceedings that followed, Lane Davis accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to second-degree murder. He was subsequently sentenced to 17 years in a state penitentiary. Today, the Seattle for Truth channel remains a digital ghost town, a haunting archive of the radicalization that led a son to destroy his own family. This shocking incident took place at a motel in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and in broad daylight. The figure standing in the foreground of the surveillance footage is Rakesh Bhagavan, the 51-year-old manager and owner of the Pittsburgh Motel in Robinson Township, known to his friends and community as Rocky. Strolling toward him with terrifying composure is 37-year-old Stanley Eugene West. Only moments before this camera captured their encounter, West had been involved in a violent dispute where he shot a female companion in the neck while she sat in a vehicle parked outside the motel. While the woman was able to flee the scene and seek emergency medical assistance, Mr. Bhagavan was not afforded that same opportunity for survival. As West approaches, the audio from the scene, though not present in this specific clip, records a final act of kindness from the motel owner. Seeing West and sensing a disturbance, Bhagavan simply asks, "Are you alright, bud?" It was a question met with a horrific response. Without hesitation, West raised his firearm and executed Mr. Bhagavan at point-blank range with a single shot to the head. Following the murder, West fled the area in a U-Haul van, leading law enforcement on a high-stakes pursuit through the city. The manhunt eventually culminated in a violent shootout with Pittsburgh detectives in the East Hills neighborhood. During the exchange, West wounded a detective before he was finally neutralized and taken into custody. As of early 2026, West remains incarcerated while facing a litany of charges, including criminal homicide, attempted homicide, and several counts of reckless endangerment. With the overwhelming evidence provided by the motel security system, justice for the Bhagavan family seems inevitable. August 28, 2009, Officer Mark Saylor is behind the wheel of a Lexus sedan. He's a professional with the California Highway Patrol. Today, he is not wearing his uniform. He is enjoying a routine Friday drive with his family. His wife Cleo sits in the passenger seat. Their young one, Mahala, is sitting in the back. His brother-in-law, Chris Lestrello, is also in the rear seat. They are traveling north on State Route 125 near Santee, California. The trip seems perfectly normal initially. There is no sign of the horror that is about to happen. At 7 p.m., a 911 operator receives a call. In this recording, you can hear the voice of Chris Lestrello. He's in a state of total panic. He is begging for help because the car is out of control. The accelerator is stuck to the floorboard. Mark is a trained driver, but he cannot stop the Lexus. The vehicle reaches a quick speed of 120 miles per hour. Chris tells the operator they are approaching a busy intersection. You can hear the family praying together in the final seconds. It is one of the most haunting recordings ever captured.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Yeah, we're in a Lexus.
I'm sorry, your cell phone's cutting out.
We're going north 125.
Mm-hmm.
And our accelerator's stuck.
I'm sorry?
Our accelerator's stuck. We're on 125 and we're in break.
Okay, northbound 125, where are you passing?
We are passing, where are we passing? We're going 120, Mission Gorge. We're in trouble. We can't, there's no break.
Okay.
Gorge, and freeway half mile.
Okay, and you don't have the ability to, like, turn the vehicle off or anything?
We're approaching an intersection. We're approaching an intersection.
Okay.
We're approaching an intersection. Hold on. Pray.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Oh.
Okay. Hello?
First tonight, we are hearing from the attorneys for both Bob Baker Lexus and the family of Officer Mark Saylor, who was killed along with his family in a fiery crash 1 year ago in Santee.
Today, Toyota announced it had settled the lawsuit with the Saylor family, but 10 News has learned...
The Lexus tracks a Ford Explorer at full speed. It launches off an embankment near Mission Gorge Road. The car flies nearly 100 feet through the air. The vehicle bursts into flames upon impact. All 4 people inside lose their lives instantly. The driver of the Explorer is struck but survives with minor wounds. Investigators discovered some shocking facts about the car. The Lexus was a loaner vehicle from a dealership. The floor mats were not the correct model for that car. A heavy rubber mat had slid forward and jammed the gas pedal. Toyota had received many reports of this problem before. I hate that a simple piece of rubber could cause so much death. This is why I think everyone should practice emergency stopping. You should know how to shift your car into neutral while moving. Toyota eventually recalled over 5.2 million vehicles because of this flaw. This event sent a quick shock through the entire car industry. The company paid a $10 million settlement to the family, but money cannot bring back the parents or the young one. They were victims of a mechanical failure they could not stop. The 911 call remains a chilling reminder how things can change. The machine they trusted with their lives failed them completely. What would you do if your car started accelerating on its own? Do you think a $10 million settlement is enough for a family of 4? Always make sure your floor mats are clipped into place. Your safety depends on the smallest details of your vehicle. In the vast landscape of online media, the transformation from a digital creator to a violent criminal is often marked by a single calculated choice. However, in the case of Jessica Worsham, known to her YouTube audience as the Indigo Mystic, that boundary was far from porous. Her channel didn't just host content, it functioned as a haunting real-time archive of a woman progressively losing her grip on the world around her. Jessica first established her online presence in 2013, initially using the platform to post casual videos about whatever subjects happened to catch her interest. For several years, her uploads were relatively innocuous and lacked any significant red flags. But as the foundations of her personal life began to fracture, the tenor of her channel shifted into something far more alarming. The catalyst for this decline appeared to be a divorce from her husband. While the specific reasons for the split remained private, many believe it was tied to her rapidly deteriorating mental health. Following the separation, Jessica was left with the responsibility of caring for her 2 youngsters, but she lacked a stable home. In an act of significant kindness, a friend allowed her to reside in one of their properties for free while they looked for a permanent buyer. What was supposed to be a short-term favor for a few months ended up stretching into 3 long years. When the home was finally sold and the time came for Jessica to vacate, her response was not one of gratitude, but of extreme hostility. She refused to leave, eventually forcing her friend to take the matter to court. Jessica lost a legal battle and was formally evicted, an event that seemed to snap her remaining ties to reality. The trauma being appended from her home, coupled with her pre-existing psychological struggles, created a perfect storm of paranoia. Jessica refused to accept the legality of the eviction, instead constructing a complex delusion where the judges, the government, and even her own family members were part of a coordinated evil cabal out to destroy her and her young ones.
The first person I would like to mention is Alan Berriman. He is my uncle, and he has been working with my other family members, a one Angie Griffith. She lives in Danielsville. And also a Denise Cantrell, who is my maternal parent. And my sister, Crystal Christian, okay? They've all been working in league with a judge, a magistrate judge that works at the Jackson County Courthouse named Benjamin Green. He's been doing under-the-table type things that he's not supposed to be doing, and Alan Berriman and those mentioned afterwards have been in league with this particular judge individual and to steal my home from me.
She began flooding her channel with frantic rants about global conspiracies, ranging from government depopulation agendas to direct, threatening messages aimed at the specific judge who presided over her housing case.
This message is for Benjamin Green. I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared. And you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared. He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but you're scared, aren't you, Benji? Ben. Good old Benji. You used to be a good person, didn't you, Benji? You did. You used to actually have the desire for justice. And the desire to do good by people. What happened? What happened? Did you let the greed of the world get to you? Did you let that secret society that you're a part of
The situation reached a terrifying breaking point in mid-2021 when her ex-husband filed for custody of their 2 youngsters. He was deeply concerned as Jessica was now effectively homeless and was no longer sending the girls to school. Her digital behavior had become a primary piece of evidence. She was now frequently posting videos where she brandished a firearm, waving it at the camera while making lethal threats against anyone she perceived as an obstacle. It was clear to everyone watching that she had become a profound danger to her own young ones. Her ex-husband's filing for temporary custody was intended to be a safety measure until Jessica could find a stable home and seek professional psychiatric help. However, in her distorted mind, this was simply another targeted attack.
It is a rather unfortunate day, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to court today against some people that are trying to take my children from me. The same people that took my home from me. the Jackson County court system.
On the day of the crucial custody hearing, Jessica arrived at the building but refused to actually enter the courtroom, a move that further demonstrated her instability to the court. Consequently, full custody was awarded to the father. Rather than using this as an opportunity to fix her life, Jessica chose to take her youngsters and go on the run. For several months, she lived as a fugitive, moving from one temporary location to the next while continuing to upload increasingly unhinged and incoherent monologues to her YouTube channel.
Mine, 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 M-I-N-E, mine. They're my babies. And I love them above anything else. I love them like I love God. And I'll do anything, including lay my life down for them. And I know that's what you wish for.
Jessica developed a pathological need to document every second of her life, and she even began instructing her young ones to start their own recordings wherever any conflict or notable event occurred. Tragically, this obsession with documentation led to a final traumatic recording that would scar her daughters forever. On November 5th, 2021, Jessica became involved in a heated dispute with the owners of the property where she was currently staying. When she refused to leave, the owners called the police to have her removed. The moment the patrol car pulled into the driveway, Jessica stepped out the front door with her firearm and immediately opened fire on the officers. One of her rounds struck 43-year-old Sheriff's Deputy Lena Marshall. The deputy was rushed to the hospital in critical condition but passed away just a few days later. The other officers on the scene returned fire in self-defense, hitting Jessica multiple times. She was pronounced dead on the spot. Inside the house, her young ones were following their mother's long-standing orders. They had recorded the entire exchange of gunfire. In a heartbreaking conclusion to the Indigo Mystic story, her younger daughter uploaded one final video to the internet, following the behavior her mother had modeled for years. The youngster posted the footage with a devastating title, "My mom is dead, I think." It was a final grim testament to a mother who had traded her reality for a world of shadows, ultimately dragging her youngsters into the center of her final violent act. September 29, 2016, it's 7:23 in the morning just north of New York City. The Pascack Valley Line Train 1614 pulls away from the Spring Valley Station. The engine is heading south toward the Hoboken Terminal in New Jersey. This is a trip that thousands of people take every single day. On this specific morning, there were about 250 passengers on board. Most of them are simply trying to get to their jobs on time. The train moves through the quiet suburbs at a steady pace. Inside the cars, people are drinking coffee and looking at their phones. Some travelers are trying to catch a few more minutes of sleep. Everything feels routine and safe for the commuters. I feel terrible for these people because they had no idea their morning was about to turn into a nightmare. This is why I always try to stay alert even when I am tired on my morning commute. You should always take note of where the emergency exits are located when you board a train. Keep watching because this gets even stranger. At 8:45 a.m., the train is nearing the end of the line. It's approaching Hoboken Terminal, which is a massive hub for travel. Passengers begin to stand up and gather their bags to get off, but the train does not begin to slow down as it enters the station. Instead of braking at the platform, the heavy cars keep moving forward. The train hits the buffer stop at a very quick speed. People are thrown from their seats and slammed into the walls. A passenger named Jaime Weatherhead said the train never tried to stop. She said they just kept going and going until the impact happened. The train crashes through the terminal wall with a deafening sound. It tears through heavy concrete, twisted steel, and falling debris. The station is usually full of life, but it becomes a disaster zone in a single second. A woman standing on the platform is struck by the debris and loses her life. Another 114 people are left with painful injuries from the crash. Initially, investigators could not explain why the brakes were never used. They looked at the conductor and the mechanics of the machine. It was later discovered that the engineer suffered from undiagnosed sleep apnea. His body may have physically failed him at the exact moment he needed to be awake. I hate thinking about how a medical issue can cause such a massive tragedy for strangers. This is why I think transportation workers should have very strict health screenings. You should always support laws that make public travel safer for everyone. In March 2025, a quiet residential street in LaSalle, Illinois, became the site of a tragic and volatile confrontation between law enforcement and a local resident. The incident centered on 72-year-old Daniel W. Curtin Sr., a man who had spent much of his life contributing to his community through his family's plumbing business and the construction of local power stations. However, on the afternoon of March 30th, police were called to the 600 block of Chartres Street following reports of a man experiencing a suicidal crisis. When officers arrived around 1:30 p.m., they encountered Curtin armed with a handgun. The situation escalated almost immediately when Curtin stepped outside and fired a shot into the air, prompting the LaSalle Police Department to call for the assistance of the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office Tactical Response Team. For the next 2.5 hours, negotiators and tactical officers worked desperately to de-escalate the standoff. During this period, Curtin reportedly drifted between states of despair and aggression, repeatedly exiting his home while brandishing his firearm and at one point even firing a round out of a window toward the officers gathered outside. Despite the hours of attempted negotiation, the crisis reached a fatal conclusion shortly after 4 p.m. Curtin emerged from the building one final time and pointed his weapon directly at the tactical officers. Forced to make a split-second decision to protect themselves and the surrounding neighborhood, an officer discharged their firearm. Curtin was struck in the head and passed away instantly on the scene. Fortunately, no officers or neighbors were physically harmed during the exchange. Following the incident, the Illinois State Police Division of Criminal Investigation took over the case to ensure a transparent view of the use of force. By September 2025, authorities released drone footage of the standoff to the public, and the LaSalle County State's attorney ultimately declined to file any charges against the officers involved, ruling that the shooting was a justified response to a lethal threat. The case remains a somber reminder of the complexities and dangers inherent in mental health-related emergency calls. In this video by the Oklahoma City Police, we see a quiet neighborhood on Southwest 64th Terrace that is about to become a crime scene. On September 24th, 2025, around 3 a.m., residents were woken up by a man screaming at the top of his lungs. Neighbors were terrified as the man yelled threats and racial slurs into the darkness. One caller told dispatchers that a person was outside just hollering and clearly out of control.
Oklahoma City 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hey, there's a guy making a disturbance outside of the house or next door. Sounds like he's making threats to the neighbor.
What the address is?
Southwest 64th.
Southwest 54th?
64th.
64th.
64th Terrace.
Okay.
Yeah, he's making threats about the kids and stuff, but I can't see him talking to anybody inside of the house or because he's right outside the gates.
Is there somebody out there with him, or is it just him?
I can't see anyone else besides him.
Okay, you said he was making threats?
Yeah, he's making threats about killing someone's kids.
Initially, the situation was handled by Sergeant Christopher Skinner, a 10-year veteran of the force. The man was later identified as 45-year-old Jason Redshirt. Skinner arrived alone and tried to assess the chaos calmly. However, Redshirt began throwing heavy objects like bricks and boards at the officer.
What's going on? You will not touch my son again, for I am his father. What's going on, man? I want to see you touch me. I want to see how much it takes to piss you off. Because I'm going to kill you. You know I'm going to kill you. When you kill my son, you people think they're bad. The hand of God is right there. Look. You want to see God and fresh, right there, look.
I feel terrible that this encounter turned so violent because a neighborhood should be a place of peace. This is why I always feel nervous when I hear loud shouting outside my window late at night.
God is, that's right, you like those over there, kids. So I'm gonna make you go over there and kill that.
What are you out here?
You are gonna go kill that. Son, make him kill that.
I don't plan on killing
you.
You
are going to. You are going to. Son, make him.
Hey,
why?
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Stay away with me.
No.
You come at me, mother. You're gonna die. My son will not let you touch me because you will die when you.
Where do you live at?
I have no home. I'm homeless, mother.
What are you doing over here?
You.
What are you doing over here?
What are you doing here?
Because you're out here.
What are you doing? Because God is here, mother. I am Jason Redshirt. I am a God. And you didn't know I was a God, huh? You goddamn police department. You didn't know you the God.
There's people
trying to Oh, you think you are buff? I will hit you once and with one hit, mother.
There are people out here sleeping, man.
Them people, they're gonna die today at 7 o'clock.
Why is that?
Because God is here and he's killing you all, unless they repent. If you want to kneel on your knee, you can repent and go to heaven. Otherwise, you will die, and at 7 o'clock, you will be dead. No, tell your police department that you will die. Follow me. I mean it. Touch me. Touch me. You will see my son smite you. You will touch me no more, because he don't like the way you do it. For you think you guys are cool.
Get back.
You.
Get back.
Oh, man.
Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around, man. Put the board down. Put the boards, put the sticks down. Put it down. Stop!
Facing dangerous objects at close range with no cover, Sergeant Skinner fired 4 times. Redshirt was struck and fell to the ground. Other officers arrived at a quick pace and tried to help the wounded man. Redshirt was taken to the hospital in critical condition, where he remained for months. Unfortunately, he died from his injuries on December 8, 2025. The officer suffered minor injuries and was placed on leave while a grand jury reviewed the case. They eventually cleared Skinner of any criminal wrongdoing. Many people believe that mental health or substance issues influenced the way Redshirt acted that night. Every young one in the area was lucky not to be caught in the crossfire of such an erratic event. It is a somber reminder that even simple objects like boards can be deadly in a quick fight. This tragedy highlights the extreme danger of solo responses to violent behavior. We must consider how many lives could be saved if officers had better backup and crisis resources immediately available. A youngster shouldn't have to grow up in a world where these outcomes are common. What would you do if a person was acting this way on your front lawn? 24-year-old Jennifer Kessie was careful. She carried pepper spray everywhere she went. She made phone calls while crossing dark parking lots. She chose a gated community with security guards because she believed safety was something you could plan for. But none of those precautions mattered on January 24, 2006. Jennifer had returned 2 days earlier from a vacation in the Virgin Islands with her boyfriend Rob. Her routine was steady and predictable. Every weekday morning before leaving for work, she would text or call Rob. He later described it as being like an alarm clock because it happened without fail. That morning, his phone stayed silent. Between 8 and 9 a.m., he called her again and again. Every call went straight to voicemail. By mid-morning, Jennifer's employer contacted her parents. Their daughter had not come to work, something completely out of character for a woman who had just received a major promotion. Alarmed, her parents contacted the building manager at the Mosaic at Millennia Condominiums and asked him to check her apartment. The door was locked from the outside. Using a spare key, the manager entered and reported that everything appeared normal inside. But Jennifer's car was missing. So were her purse, her phone, and her keys. Then a troubling detail surfaced. The Mosaic was still under construction. Workers moved freely throughout the complex, and some were even living in empty units. According to the family's private investigator, 10 men were staying in the apartment directly across from Jennifer's. She had told friends and family that these workers made her uncomfortable, directing inappropriate comments at her and other women. Management had reportedly told her there was nothing they could do. 2 days later, police located Jennifer's black 2004 Chevy Malibu at a different condo complex about a mile away, called Huntington on the Green. A resident recognized the vehicle from the news. Surveillance cameras showed the car arriving around 1 p.m. on January January 24th. The person driving was clearly not Jennifer. The driver sat inside for roughly 30 seconds, likely wiping down surfaces, then exited and walked away. The camera system captured images every 2 to 3 seconds, and in every single frame, fence posts perfectly obscured the person's face. Search dogs traced a scent trail from the car back to the mosaic. Witnesses later reported seeing Jennifer's car that morning swerving out of the parking lot, as if someone was struggling to control it. The vehicle itself offered almost nothing forensically. No blood was found. DNA results were inconclusive. Investigators did notice an unusual pattern in the dust on the hood, possibly suggesting a struggle. A woman later identified the figure in the surveillance footage as a maintenance worker named Chino, who had done repairs in Jennifer's condo before her vacation. He was already in jail on unrelated charges when investigators found him. He denied involvement, passed a polygraph, and maintained his innocence. But there was a problem. Chino stood 5'9". The person in the footage appeared significantly shorter. In 2018, Jennifer's parents sued the Orlando Police Department and won access to more than 16,000 pages of documents. Inside, they discovered something that had been overlooked. Shortly after Jennifer vanished, a witness reported seeing someone dump a rolled carpet 6 to 8 feet long into a lake near the mosaic. The workers across from Jennifer's unit had been installing carpet the very day she disappeared. A dive team searched the lake in November 2019. They found nothing. In 2016, Jennifer's father stood in court as a judge, declared his daughter legally dead. He later said it was the hardest thing he had ever done in his life. Jennifer Kessie was never found. Her case remains open. In modern-day Dallas, the last thing you would ever expect to see is a scene of medieval brutality unfolding in a motel parking lot. But on Wednesday, September 10, 2025, that is exactly what happened in an event so gruesome, it left the entire community in shock. The victim was 50-year-old Chandra Bob Nagamalaya, a hard-working Indian immigrant who had moved his family to Texas to pursue his dream of working in hospitality. As the manager of the Downtown Suites Motel, Bob was known by residents and staff as a kind, helpful man who stayed out of the way and worked tirelessly for his wife and youngster. The horror began over something incredibly trivial. Bob was cleaning rooms alongside a 37-year-old employee and a resident named Jordanis Cobos Martinez. When Bob noticed a broken washing machine, he instructed the staff not to use it because of a language barrier. Bob asked another female employee to translate the instructions into Spanish for Martinez. This seemingly minor interaction triggered a catastrophic rage in Martinez, who reportedly felt insulted that Bob didn't speak to him directly. What happened next was captured on surveillance cameras and witnessed by Bob's terrified family. Martinez left the room, retrieved a machete, and began a relentless pursuit. Bob ran toward the front office, desperate to reach safety, but Martinez caught up to him. As Bob's wife and his 18-year-old son, Gaurav, rushed out and screamed for the attacker to stop, Martinez shoved them aside and proceeded to carry out a savage, cold-blooded beheading. Perhaps most disturbing was a lack of humanity shown afterward. Witnesses and police affidavits state that after the decapitation, Martinez kicked Bob's head across the parking lot like a soccer ball before picking it up and tossing it into a dumpster. Police who were already patrolling nearby arrested Martinez minutes later. He was still clutching the machete and was completely saturated in blood. The investigation into Martinez revealed the terrifying history of violent crime across 3 states, including carjacking and assault. He had been released from ICE custody just months prior because his home country refused to take him back due to his criminal record. As of early 2026, Jordanis Cobos Martinez is being held in the Dallas County Jail on charge of capital murder. While prosecutors initially weigh the death penalty, the focus remains on ensuring this vile monster never walks free again, providing some small measure of justice for the family who had to watch their hero taken in the most unthinkable way. In this video from Highway 90 in Horry County, South Carolina, we see the aftermath of a routine commute that turned into a senseless tragedy on the morning of January 6, 2026.
Stupid bastard. God damn it!
She hit both of us this morning.
Around 7:45 a.m., a 33-year-old father of 5 named Greenwood was driving his white pickup truck when he rear-ended another vehicle near Star Bluff Road. The accident also involved a Honda Civic driven by 23-year-old Elijah Thurman Taylor. Initially, the scene looked like any other minor fender bender, where drivers pull over to exchange insurance information. However, the situation escalated with a terrifying and swift energy. Both men stepped out of their vehicles, and what likely started as a heated argument over the crash quickly spiraled out of control.
You stupid are you? I don't give a f about your insurance, you ignorant. I ain't got to do I ain't got to do motherfucker. You hit me. You hit me. I ain't got to do you. You dumb. You stupid. You goddamn horse you rode in on. What you know? That stupid hat.
Taylor reportedly gave a warning that things were about to go too far, and Greenwood seemed to realize the danger was increasing.
One more time to get you need one more time to get in my thing. I got one more time. Come on. Put your goddamn hands on the hat. No, come on.
In a quick moment that changed everything, Taylor reached back into his vehicle and pulled out a firearm. He fired 4 or 5 rounds in rapid succession, hitting Greenwood. The father of 5 collapsed onto the pavement and was mortally wounded, being pronounced dead at the scene before medical help could even arrive. I feel terrible for Greenwood's family, especially his girlfriend, who was reportedly on the phone with him during the confrontation and actually heard the gunfire as it happened. This is why I always try to remain as calm as possible after a car accident, even if the other person is acting irate. The shouting at the scene immediately turned into pure panic as witnesses realized the man had been struck and killed. Traffic came to a complete stop and the highway remained closed for hours while investigators processed the site. Taylor did not flee the area. He stayed where he was and was taken into custody without resistance. He has since been charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime and is currently being held without bond. While prosecutors expect a self-defense claim from Taylor's legal team, they have noted a disturbing detail in the video footage. The recordings appear to show Greenwood retreating or backing away at the exact moment the shots were fired. It is a somber reminder that in many jurisdictions, using deadly force against a person who is moving away is extremely difficult to justify legally. A life was taken over a minor traffic dispute that should have ended with a simple insurance claim. Every youngster in Greenwood's family now has to grow up without a devoted father because of one brief moment of road rage. A GoFundMe was created to help them cope with a sudden and irreversible loss. This case raises serious questions about personal responsibility and the danger of having guns easily accessible inside vehicles during moments of high stress. We must all teach every young one that no argument on the road is worth a human life. Michael DiPietro met Dahlia on an online dating site and fell for her fast. Within months, he divorced his wife and married her, convinced he had found the person he would spend the rest of his life with. What he didn't know was that this relationship was already turning into a trap. In less than 6 months, Dahlia had drained his finances and had convinced him to sign over the deed to his home. By the time she was done, more than $240,000 had been transferred into her control. But even that wasn't enough. According to court records, Dahlia reached out to her ex-boyfriend Muhammad Shahi and asked him to help arrange something far darker. She wanted her husband eliminated. Muhammad was a part-time actor and convenience store owner. When Dahlia asked if he could find someone to take care of Michael, he realized he was dealing with someone capable of murder. Instead of helping her, he went straight to the Boynton Beach Police Department. Detectives wired him with a hidden microphone and placed a pinhole camera inside his car. They sent him back out with a story about locating a hitman. The recordings captured Dahlia's true intentions. When Muhammad told her the gunman would need money up front, she briefly left the car. When she returned, police called Muhammad on speaker while he remained inside the vehicle. On tape, Dahlia verbally solicited the murder and handed over the cash. Investigators then escalated the sting by introducing an undercover officer posing as the hitman. Dahlia didn't hesitate. She even offered a bonus if Michael was shot in public. She withdrew $10,000 from the bank and told the hitman he could help himself to the rest of the cash after killing her husband. The undercover officer told her he needed access to the house. She hesitated, uneasy about letting a stranger inside, but ultimately agreed. Before leaving that morning, Dahlia packed $80,000 worth of jewelry into her bag and headed to the gym, believing her husband would soon be dead. Meanwhile, police had to inform Michael, who was at home recovering from liposuction surgery, that his own wife had ordered his murder. He was stunned, but he agreed to help. Officers staged a full crime scene outside the house, making it appear that Michael had been killed. They even allowed a camera crew from the show Cops to document everything. An officer called Dahlia with the news. The voice sounded natural. The urgency felt real. She arrived within minutes. Her reaction appeared dramatic at first, but it quickly shifted. Instead of asking about her husband, she became more concerned about her dogs. Not long after, she was brought in for questioning. That's when police revealed the truth. Michael was alive. The murder had been staged. Dahlia denied everything. At trial, she claimed the entire plot was fake, insisting that she, Muhammad, and even Michael were creating a concept for a reality show. Michael took the stand and dismantled that story. He testified that he had never auditioned for a show, never written a script, and never agreed to anything of the sort. The jury convicted her, and she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Her attorneys appealed, arguing that the viral footage may have unfairly influenced jurors. A judge granted a new trial. She was convicted again. In this video, by a campus security camera, we see what appears to be a normal walk through a college grounds. An 18-year-old woman named Trinity Progue is seen carrying a youngster toward a dorm building. Trinity was a former beauty pageant queen, and at first glance, she looks like a caring guardian. The young one in her arms is 18-month-old Jackson Drew, often called JD. Initially, the footage feels wholesome and calm, but you should never judge a situation by its first impression. Trinity is not the mother of this young one. The youngster is actually the son of her ex-boyfriend, who you can see following behind them in the hallway. I feel terrible for this little boy because he had no way to know the danger he was walking into. This is why I always feel a heavy weight in my chest when I see youngsters left with people who have a history of unstable relationships. The father is recorded going in and out of the dorm room several times. He eventually leaves his youngster alone in the care of Trinity. This decision turned out to be a fatal error for the family. Just hours later, the 18-month-old young one was found unresponsive in the room. He was rushed to the hospital after he was struck and suffered blunt force trauma to his head and torso. Tragically, the youngster did not survive the violent injuries he sustained. When questioned, Trinity claimed the young one had simply fallen off the bed. However, medical experts found that the damage to his body was too severe for that story to be true. She was charged with the death of the boy and sentenced to life in prison. It's a somber reminder that evil can hide behind a beautiful face.
I don't do a lot of speaking when I'm passing the sentence. I've heard the case and I've considered the tragedy on the left side, on my left side, and on the right side, and there's a lot of tragedy to go around here. The whole time that I'm hearing a case, I think about what the appropriate sentence would be. I hope this can bring some closure to the family. It's just a complete tragedy, and I hope that you can, in your older days, have some sort of life after serving this sentence.
What would you do if you realized someone you loved was capable of such a dark act? It is a terrifying thought that someone could be so quick to turn on a defenseless youngster. We must always be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. I hope that JD is in a much more peaceful place now. In this video from June 10th, 2016, we look back at a heart-wrenching incident in Hobble Creek Canyon, Utah, where a quiet Friday afternoon drive turned into a horrific disaster. Lance Simpson, aged 46, and his wife Jade had recently moved to Elk Ridge for Lance's new job at a power plant. The couple, described by friends as adventurous and deeply in love, decided to take their Dodge pickup truck up the right fork of the canyon to explore the local scenery. Initially, the drive seemed like a typical outdoor excursion, but the atmosphere inside the cab was far from peaceful. The most disturbing part of the recording from that day is the sound of Jade telling Lance to slow down. According to comments later made by the family members, it is believed that both had been drinking, which likely fueled the heated argument and impaired Lance's judgment behind the wheel. I feel terrible for their families because a simple afternoon out should never end with such a violent and irreversible loss. This is why I always emphasize that emotions and alcohol should never be mixed with a steering wheel, especially on narrow mountain roads. The investigation into the crash revealed a chilling detail. There were no skid marks or brake traces on the dirt track. This suggests that the driver never even attempted to stop or correct the vehicle's path. The truck simply drifted or veered off the edge, tipping over a steep cliff and falling roughly 600 feet. The vehicle tumbled violently down the mountainside and both Lance and Jade were ejected from the cab before the truck landed in the ravine, mangled beyond recognition. Around 4:30 p.m., bicyclists near the Wordsworth trailhead spotted the tire tracks leading straight over the precipice along with scattered debris. Search and rescue teams had to rappel down the dangerous terrain to locate the couple, whose bodies were found at separate points along the wreckage path. Tragically, the family's dog also died in the collision. While a sheriff's sergeant initially noted that alcohol appeared to be a factor, the case was eventually closed as a tragic single-vehicle accident without a public confirmation of impairment. It is a somber reminder of how a quick lapse in attention or a poor decision can lead to total devastation. No youngster should ever have to lose their parents to a preventable drift off the roadway. The lack of mechanical failure suggests that human error was the primary cause of this tragedy. We must all teach every young one the importance of staying focused and sober while navigating the world. In the quiet suburbs of Brandon, Mississippi, home surveillance cameras captured a scene that initially looked like a panicked youngster fleeing from a predator. The footage showed 14-year-old Carly Gregg running out of her house, screaming in apparent terror. At first glance, an observer might assume she had witnessed an unspeakable tragedy. The reality, however, was far more disturbing. Carly hadn't witnessed a horror. She had orchestrated one. Evidence later brought before a jury revealed that just moments before those cameras caught her running, the teenager had retrieved a .357 Magnum from her parents' bedroom. She hid the weapon behind her back as she walked into the kitchen, where she proceeded to shoot her mother, 40-year-old Ashley Smiley, 3 times at close range. The cold-blooded nature of the crime didn't end with the pull of a trigger. After her mother lay dead on the kitchen floor, Carly took her mother's phone and sent a series of deceptive text messages to her stepfather, Heath Smiley, luring him back to the house under false pretenses. When he finally walked through the door, Carly was waiting. She fired a shot that struck him in the shoulder, but he managed to wrestle the firearm away from her and disarm the youngster before she could fire again. Following the struggle, Carly fled into the nearby woods, where she was apprehended by law enforcement shortly after. During the high-profile trial that followed, the courtroom was presented with two very different versions of the girl. The defense, her lawyers argued that Carly was suffering from a severe mental health crisis and a break from reality, claiming she was in a state of psychosis brought on by new medication and the trauma of her environment. The prosecution, they painted a picture of a calculated killer who was angry about her mother discovering her secret double life involving substance abuse. They pointed to her calm demeanor while texting her stepfather as evidence of her clear-headedness. In September 2024, the legal system delivered its final word. Despite her age, Carly Gregg was convicted on all counts, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and tampering with evidence. She was handed a sentence at 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole plus an additional 10 years. The case remains a haunting example of how quickly a domestic setting can transform into a crime scene, leaving a family shattered and a young life permanently behind bars. It's a moonless night on a desolate stretch of road. A routine patrol suddenly turns into a high-speed nightmare as a Ford Fusion, headlights off, tears through the darkness like a ghost. For the officers giving chase, it was a battle against the driver with nothing to lose. But for the innocent people on the road that night, it was a collision course with a predator they never saw coming. The crash was instantaneous, a violent, metal-rending collision that ended the pursuit but began a desperate fight for survival. In the wreckage of a Subaru that had nothing to do with the chase, a woman named Charodai sat trapped and unresponsive. She had been driving home, unaware that her life was about to be crossed by a man whose history was as dark as the night itself.
King Robert Lincoln. Oh, you did?
Where you at? I'm so sorry, brother.
No, get back, get back!
Hands! Hands! Hands!
Hey, Casey, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Are you okay in there? Hello, are you okay in there? Hey, are you all right? Are you all right? Is there anybody else in the vehicle?
As smoke began to fill the cabin, the atmosphere on the scene shifted from adrenaline to pure suffocating dread. The officers scrambled, their body cams capturing the raw panic of the victims. A man in the car, Josh, screams for help, while the driver of the Ford, the man responsible for this carnage, stumbles out, seemingly more concerned with himself than the lives he just shattered.
On the ground, down, do not move.
What's hurt?
I got shot.
Okay, huh?
I got shot.
You got shot where?
No, this was a minute ago.
You just got shot?
No, I got shot a minute ago.
All right. By who?
No, this was a long time ago. I'm just saying it hurt right now.
Okay. Can you lay down for me?
Can you help me, please?
I'm gonna help you. I got squad coming.
Get up!
All right.
Get up!
All right.
We're good. Take a breath, son.
All right, come on, hold me up. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on. Go. Hey, we got a front passenger. Front passenger. Front passenger.
Got one trapped over here!
Are you guys going to check on them? I'm going to check on the other car. Where'd she come from? This car? Yeah, she's in the back seat. Okay. She's 16. What do you need? What do you need? I don't know. I don't know how to get around.
All right. Leave her for now. Leave her. Leave her. Leave her.
Leave it?
Leave her. We don't know if something could be broken. Leave her.
I gotta shut this thing off.
Won't be able to.
Ma'am, can you talk to me? Are you okay?
What's her name?
You know her name?
Nene?
Nane.
Nene?
Nane, are you okay? Stay with us, okay?
Nene?
Nane, are you okay? Pain is doing good, okay? Ma'am, you gotta talk to me, please. Talk to me. Hey, can somebody come over here for a minute, please?
What do you need?
I got a gun pointing right at me.
Grab the gun, secure it, make it safe.
What's up, dude?
Please tell me if she's okay.
Get back in the...
Nane, are you okay, baby?
Sit back. She's fine. Sit back. You did this to yourself.
She's fine. She's fine. She's fine. To me?
Just keep trying with it.
I am. Ma'am.
Slow it down. You're doing just fine.
Ma'am. There you go. I seen something. I seen you move. Okay, can you move your hands for me? Your hand that's wearing that has the watch on, your left hand. Can you move that for me?
Charday is her first name.
Charday, it's Chris.
As paramedics worked against the clock to extract charred dye from the twisted remains of her car, a bizarre and unsettling event occurred. A woman, seemingly oblivious to the carnage in the crime scene tape, drove her car directly into the heart of the investigation.
What are you doing?
No, I swear to God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not
Driver's
see that.
license, registration, proof of insurance. You see this crime scene tape that's strung up on your roof? Look.
I do now. I didn't see it when I was driving.
And then you kept going until I stopped you.
No, I was stopped. I'm sorry. I did not see it. I'm so sorry.
You're not paying attention. That might be an issue. Driver's license.
Okay. Can I give you my social? I just came from dinner on block with my mom.
I'm not worried about where you came from. I want your driver's license, proof of insurance, and registration now. Do you have your driver's license or no?
Can I give you my social, please?
Do you have your driver's license?
I don't.
You normally just drive right past a cop car?
No, I don't. But however, I was on the phone. My sister, she's still on the phone.
So you were distracted driving with your phone and your
I didn't know. I didn't have my phone in my hand. She was on my Bluetooth.
Regardless, the fact that you bypassed caution tape, a police car that's stationary, is completely and utterly wild. Yes. Okay. That shows that you weren't paying attention. There might be a reason for that.
What's your first name?
It's because the windshield's tinted and she can't see out of it and it's cracked.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
I didn't have anything to drink.
So you just drive like that? You do realize how crazy that is?
This surreal interruption added a layer of chilling indifference to an already tragic night. While a woman's life hung in the balance just feet away, a stranger argued about her tinted windows and her phone call. It's a moment of disconnection that highlights the cold reality of the situation. To some, this was a tragedy. To others, it was merely an inconvenience.
Why would I care if you're a hairstylist? You just went through a crime scene.
I'm sorry.
Well, what would being a hairstylist matter at that point?
You don't have your driver's license, your windshield's tinted, you almost killed a deputy, you got crime scene tape hanging from your car.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Maybe you should understand the ramifications of you driving through a crime scene and why we're all upset.
No, I totally understand.
So why would I care about if you're a hairstylist?
Let me find my insurance card.
The investigation into the Ford Fusion revealed a grim reality. Inside the vehicle, officers found the remnants of a deadly choice: open bottles of tequila and orange juice. The driver, 24-year-old John, wasn't just fleeing the police, he was operating through a haze of intoxication.
Alright, one pure aqua fruit water bottle with an orange liquid that smells of orange juice and tequila found on the driver's seat.
Sade, stay with me.
Driver and passenger were not wearing seatbelts, indicated by them being buckled in the seat behind them.
Talk to me. Hey, Sade, stay with me. She said something to me in the very beginning and was moving the hand with the watch.
Open.
Oh, yeah. Like a white iPhone yet?
No. Open bottle of Terramana tequila, about 3/4 of the way full. Open container of Western Reserve Reposado agave spirit, about half full. Passenger floorboard. Rear left behind the driver, passenger. Another open container of XSL guava.
The night ended in the worst way possible. 37-year-old Char Dai was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. She was an innocent bystander, a victim of a man who was no stranger to violence. John had already been charged with robbery and attempted murder years prior, but on this night, his actions claimed a life. He now faces a litany of charges, including involuntary manslaughter and aggravated vehicular homicide. But for Char Dai's family, the terror of that night will never truly end. It remains a haunting reminder of how a single, reckless soul can turn a quiet commute into a permanent nightmare. On August 12, 2025, 33-year-old Shayla Cabrera was reported missing. At first, it appeared to be another unexplained disappearance, but within 24 hours, investigators uncovered disturbing surveillance footage in Los Angeles that shifted the case in a far darker direction. The video pointed toward a single suspect. The person closest to her, her husband, Yosier Cabrera, vanished almost immediately, fleeing the country with the couple's 3 sons. 4 days later, on August 16th, the search took a horrifying turn. Shayla's remains were discovered dumped deep inside the Angeles National Forest. What had begun as a missing person case was now a confirmed homicide, triggering an international manhunt.
The body was dragged from this apartment 1 behind me, and was dragged all the way to her car.
For 4 months, Cabrera remained on the run. Then authorities located him in Peru. He was arrested, extradited back into the United States, and charged with the murder of his wife. The man who once shared her home is now facing the full weight of the justice system, headed from the courtroom toward a prison cell. In this video from a PNC bank in Erie, Pennsylvania, we see the beginning of one of the most complex heists in history. On August 28, 2003, a 46-year-old pizza delivery man named Brian Wells walked into the building with a metal collar bomb locked around his neck. Earlier that day, a call came into Mamma Mia's Pizza for a delivery to a remote transmission tower. Brian went to deliver the food and never returned to the shop. Initially, the surveillance footage shows Brian acting unusually calm given the deadly device on his body. Witnesses said he ate a lollipop during the robbery and swung a shotgun disguised as a cane like a character in a movie. He demanded $250,000 but walked out with less than $9,000. Police found him 15 minutes later in a nearby parking lot. I feel terrible for anyone who has to witness a life end in such a public and violent way. This is why I always feel a sense of unease when a story involves a person being used as a pawn. Brian pleaded with officers for help, claiming that 4 men had forced the bomb onto him at gunpoint. He told them he was on a scavenger hunt and had to follow clues to get the keys to the collar. Just 3 minutes before the bomb squad arrived, the device detonated. Brian died instantly. Investigators later followed the instructions for the hunt and realized a dark truth. It was not humanly possible to finish the tasks in the allotted time. Brian was never meant to survive that afternoon. The investigation eventually led to a woman named Marjorie Dio Armstrong. She had a disturbing history, including the death of a previous husband and a boyfriend. Less than a month after Brian died, a man named Bill Rothstein called the police to report a body in his freezer. The dead man was Marjorie's latest partner. Marjorie eventually admitted to providing parts for the bomb, but blamed Rothstein for the entire plan. It is a somber reminder that some people are willing to destroy lives for a small amount of money. Marjorie was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, where she later died. Because the main players in the heist have all passed away, the full truth about Brian's level of involvement died with him. Was he a victim or a willing participant who was betrayed? In this video, we see a shocking and senseless act of violence that occurred inside a Wendy's in Prescott Valley, Arizona. On July 26, 2022, an argument over a simple food order escalated into a tragedy that would end a man's life.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
3020 North Glassford Hill Road in Prescott Valley, Arizona.
At the Wendy's?
Yes.
Okay, what's the emergency?
I had one of my crew members punch out one of my customers. He landed on the floor and his head is bleeding.
Okay, a crew member punched a customer?
Yes.
Initially, the interaction at the counter appeared to be a standard customer complaint, but the situation took a dark turn very quickly. The footage shows 35-year-old employee Antoine Kendrick becoming visibly angry during an argument with a 67-year-old customer. After a brief exchange, Antoine walked out from behind the counter and delivered a single devastating punch to the side of the man's head. The victim collapsed instantly, striking the floor with a quick and heavy impact. Antoine then simply grabbed his jacket and walked out of the restaurant, leaving the elderly man bleeding and unconscious. I feel terrible for the victim and his family because no one should lose their life over a fast food order. It's frightening how a moment of uncontrolled rage can destroy multiple lives in a heartbeat.
Me just trying to do my job. You with me. I'll learn you. Me. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Wrong time, buddy. Right, man? When I hear handcuffs. Me in cuffs. We go to prison. Catch the disciple. With me. You're with me. You just have it. You with me. Me? Okay. You guys follow me. I told his manager to come get you. She would not listen. They don't listen to me. Bad things happen. Bad things happen. You with me. That's what happened. That's what you want to know. Fuck racist mother. The wrong man. You don't know me. Think it's best I get back home? What way to keep mother? It's called hell in prison. Cause hell, I run yo big fucking dog. Do this shit for years, y'all mother. Nobody gonna disrespect me! Antoine. Stop yelling, man. I've been holding this pain in for so long. I get it, man, but yelling ain't gonna do nothing. My partner will come shower you, man, but you gotta stop yelling.
Antoine later claimed he felt disrespected and snapped because he had been holding in a lot of personal pain. He also mentioned dealing with mental health struggles and admitted that he had not taken his medication that day.
Racist mother. Okay? I tried to be nice. I tried to go get my manager to control the situation. Okay? I have witness. My girl was there. Her kids was there.
I got a lot of pain I've been holding in for so long. A lot of pain I've been holding in for so long. And today was just not the day to play with me. Whatever my consequences is, it is what it is. I accept it like a man. But I was provoked. I wouldn't do nothing like that for no reason. God, honest truth. And today was not the day to play with me. I've been holding shit in for so long. I go through difficulties in my life. I'm sober. I'm a sober guy, standing sober living. Been going through ups and downs. Losing grandmamas. Losing my mom in the past 6 months. Losing friends to fentanyl overdoses. Just a lot of shit been going on in my life. Yeah. And I just been holding so much pain in for so long. And disrespect is something I don't take fairly.
Yeah.
That's just something I don't take fairly. And today, no, that's not how you supposed to fill them up. I want them to the rim. He yelling at me this, I'm already having a bad day. I'm already having a bad day. He just started getting smart with me, running at his mouth. I felt disrespected, and I blew up. My head blew up. I went back there. I told my manager, "Hey, you need to come and get this man. You need to come up here and get this man." She still sat there back on the computer, and I blew up. I blew up.
Did he make some racist comments towards you?
He called me a nigga. I knew he was racist from the time he came to the restaurant when he ordered his food. I knew he was on bullshit. I knew he was on bullshit when he first came to my restaurant. I know a bullshit person when I see one. You was on bullshit with me when you came to that restaurant.
What did your manager say? Or what after you went and talked to her, what did she say?
She still sat back there on her computer like it was no problem. So I took matters in my own hands. I blew up. I said, "Hey, you got a problem with me? I'm bipolar, schizophrenia. I mood disorder. I take medications."
Did you take your medications today?
No, I have not.
When do you normally take them?
I'm supposed to take them daily, but I haven't took them today.
Do you think that might be contributing to
maybe so? But I'm just not going to with me.
The victim tragically passed away about 10 days later on August 5, 2022. Antoine Kendrick was subsequently charged with second-degree murder for the assault. This story serves as a somber reminder of why it's so important to manage your temper and walk away from heated confrontations before they turn violent.
No más los recuerdos de 10 comandantes que mal me jugaron. Recuerdo mi rancho, mi lindo ganado, mi viejo caballo.
While many people are responsible when they own weapons, far too many individuals are reckless. In this video, you can see several men who appear to be in good spirits. They are drinking beer and singing together, while one of the men cradles a powerful rifle in his arms. It is a somber reminder that alcohol and firearms are a combination that should never exist. The relaxed party atmosphere is about to take a deadly turn in a quick moment. Freddie Morales, a 32-year-old man from Texas, was arrested and charged with murder following this event. He is accused of killing 26-year-old Julio Cesar Soto Jr. after the young man was struck in the face by a bullet. I feel terrible for the family of the victim because such a senseless act of violence could have been easily avoided. This is why I always feel uneasy when I see people handling weapons in a casual or careless way. Initially, some news reports claimed that these two men were actually friends. However, seeing how the situation ended makes me doubt they had a strong bond. Immediately after the victim was wounded, Morales fled the scene with his rifle in hand. He was eventually taken into custody by the police without any more people being struck. It's a terrifying reality that one bad decision can end a life forever. What would you do if a person in the room started waving a weapon around while drinking? You must have a swift exit plan whenever you feel a situation is becoming dangerous. It is especially vital to keep every youngster away from environments where firearms are handled without proper care. A young one should never have to witness this kind of reckless behavior. I hope that justice is served for Julio and his grieving loved ones. Birthdays are supposed to be a celebration of life, but for 45-year-old Elizaveta Gishina, her milestone birthday would end in a way no one could have predicted. She traveled to Pavlovsk near St. Petersburg, Russia, to conquer a 290-foot abandoned boiler tower, a rusted industrial skeleton that had become a hotspot for extreme thrill seekers. The footage from that day starts with smiles. Elizaveta, known to her friends as Liza, is seen standing on the edge of the abyss. She's strapped into a harness, laughing and shouting, "Let's go," to the camera. She leaps, plummeting toward the earth with a scream of pure adrenaline. The rope catches her just above the ground and she swings safely, exhilarated. She had survived the dangerous part. But the adrenaline wasn't enough. Liza wanted a memory that would last forever. She decided to rescale the tower to take a final selfie from the summit, a keepsake to mark her successful jump. This time, however, the safety protocols were ignored. As she stood on the narrow platform, 290 feet above the unforgiving ground, she was no longer tethered to the life-saving ropes that had protected her moments before. In a horrifying twist of fate, the very height she had just conquered became her executioner. While attempting to capture the perfect photo, Liza's foot slipped. With no harness to catch her, she plunged the full 290 feet. The most chilling detail, her 23-year-old son Nikita was right there. He watched from the ground as his mother transformed from a celebrating birthday girl into a falling shadow. Russian authorities have since launched an investigation into the organizers of the rope jumping event, questioning how a participant was allowed back onto a lethal edge without equipment. It's a grim reminder that sometimes the pursuit of the perfect digital memory can be the last thing you ever do. Doorbell cameras are everywhere now, quietly recording the smallest details of daily life. Investigators love them because they capture moments people never expect to matter. In 2022, one of those cameras recorded a young man named Jason Chen doing ordinary things. He was seen buying cleaning supplies. He was seen driving a car through quiet neighborhoods. On their own, the clips looked harmless, just another person going about his day. But in court, those same images took on a terrifying meaning. Prosecutors explained that the cleaning supplies were used to erase blood from a murder scene. The car he was driving didn't belong to him. It belonged to his victim. 22-year-old Jasmine Pak had been found stuffed inside a suitcase. Her ankles were handcuffed and shackled to her arm. She had been stabbed more than 60 times. The brutality of the scene left no doubt this wasn't an accident. From the moment her body was discovered, Jasmine's parents suspected the person closest to her, her boyfriend, Jason Chen. When police executed a search warrant at Chen's home, they uncovered evidence of blood and signs of a frantic attempt to clean it away. The ordinary footage from doorbell cameras suddenly became a timeline of guilt. Every errand, every drive, every calm movement told the story of what happened after the killing. Jason Chen did not get away with it. He was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. What once looked like routine, everyday behavior became the silent witness that helped ensure he would never walk free again.
Witness 15, if you could stand and read the verdict. Chen, stand with your term. Start with respect to.
With respect to count 1 of presentment 315228, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Chen, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
This is an emotional verdict. Everyone needs to maintain decorum, please. All right, rest of the jurors, if this is your individual verdict, please so indicate by raising your right hand. Record should reflect that everyone's right hands are raised. All right, sir, read count 2.
With respect to count 2 of presentment 315228, we the jury find the defendant Jason Chen guilty of abuse of the corpse.
All right, rest of the jurors, if this is your individual verdict.
Irina Zarutska thought she had finally found peace. At just 23 years old, she had fled the horrors of the war in Ukraine, moving to Charlotte, North Carolina in search of the American dream. But on the night of August 22, 2025, she would discover that some monsters don't wear uniforms. They sit right behind you on the commute home. Surveillance footage from the Lynx Blue Line captures a scene that looks like any other Friday night. Irina is seen sitting quietly, absorbed in her phone after a long day of work. But directly behind her sits 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr., a man with a rap sheet 14 arrests long and a mind fractured by severe mental illness. For 4 minutes, they sit in silence. Irina has no idea that the man behind her is watching her, his hand already reaching for a pocket knife. Without a single word or even a glance of provocation, Brown stands up and strikes. Irina is stabbed multiple times in the neck and chest. In a moment of pure, heart-wrenching terror, the footage shows Irina looking up at her killer, not with anger, but with a look of utter confusion and cowering fear. She tries to shield her face with her hands, but the damage is already done. As the attacker calmly walks away, the train car transforms from a quiet commute into a scene of desperate struggle. While some passengers are frozen in shock, others spring into action. New footage reveals the final moments of Irina's life as strangers become heroes. One man tears off his own shirt to try and stem the bleeding. Others perform CPR on the floor of the train car, refusing to let her go without a fight. Why did this happen? The answer is perhaps the scariest part of all. Brown's family later revealed he suffered from schizophrenia and believed the man-made material was controlling his body. According to his sister, he attacked Irina because he believed she was reading his mind. Irina had survived a literal war zone, only to be taken by delusion in a city that was supposed to be her sanctuary. DeCarlos Brown Jr. now faces federal charges and the possibility of the death penalty. For Irina's family, it's a small comfort. Her story stands as a haunting reminder that on public transit, you never truly know who is sitting in the seat behind you. In this video, you can see the final moments of the crew aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. Astronauts understand that their line of work involves extreme risks. However, the 7 people on this mission could not have imagined the nightmare they would face. These moments were recorded on the cockpit tape and are very difficult to witness. The crew was on a 16-day flight in 2003 that seemed like a successful journey. Initially, the re-entry into Earth's atmosphere felt like a routine procedure, but something went terribly wrong as the shuttle descended.
I'm getting the jets firing. I'm trying to see if I can get an overhead window view yet. Okay.
Kind of dull. Oh, it'll be obvious when the time comes.
Really, I guess I could give you the camera to put out the front window.
Here, let's don't do that.
Okay.
Let's just, let's go ahead and make sure you check your suit pressure integrity too.
All right. 1052 is what we were looking for.
Okay. 1016, right? Oh, that's 16 right here.
Yeah, 221016. Yeah, 221016. Correct. Sorry.
All 7 astronauts were killed in the disaster. I feel terrible for their families because they were watching from the ground, waiting for a homecoming that never happened. This is why I always feel a sense of dread when I think about the vastness and danger of space travel. The investigation traced the accident back to the very start of the mission during the launch. A piece of insulating foam broke off from the external fuel tank. This foam used a quick motion to hit the left wing of the shuttle. The wing was struck with enough force to damage the reinforced heat shield. This created a breach that allowed superheated gases to enter the structure. The intense heat caused a total structural failure. The shuttle broke apart over the states of Texas and Louisiana. Reports found that ignored safety concerns and failures in communication were major factors. It's haunting to know that the damage was already done before they even reached space. They spent 16 days in orbit not knowing that their vessel was already compromised. It's a somber reminder that even a small piece of foam can lead to a massive catastrophe. We must always listen to safety warnings, no matter how minor they seem at the time. The loss of these brave explorers is a tragedy that the world will never forget. I can only hope that the lessons learned from this prevent another family from feeling this pain. On the morning of October 25th, 2023, 21-year-old Lily James spent a final quiet morning with her family in Sans Souci, New South Wales, before heading off to her coaching shift at St. Andrew's Cathedral School. She would never return home. Lily was a dedicated water polo coach at the elite private school, a high achiever who had recently earned her sports business degree from the University of Technology, Sydney. She was known for her bright personality and her passion for helping her students excel. Just 5 weeks earlier, she had started a casual relationship with a 22-year-old colleague named Paul Thyssen, who worked at the school as a cricket and hockey coach. Lily's friends noted that she was never looking for a serious commitment. When she began to sense that Paul was becoming stifling and controlling, she made the decision to end things. Initially, Paul seemed to handle the rejection with a calm exterior, but that mask hid a growing violent obsession. Days after the breakup, Lily suddenly vanished. When her frantic parents could no longer reach her, they filed a missing person report, fearing the worst. Their fears were confirmed hours later when an anonymous caller contacted the police, directing them to look inside the school's gymnasium bathroom. At that exact moment, Lily's father, Jamie, received a haunting text from his daughter's phone that simply said, "Come to school, trouble." Jamie knew instantly the person sending the message wasn't his daughter. The wording was cold, cryptic, and entirely unlike Lily's usual way of speaking. He rushed to the school, only to be met by a wall of police officers and the grim sight of crime scene tape cordoning off the campus. This was the moment the investigation transitioned from a missing person case into a brutal homicide inquiry. Inside that gymnasium bathroom, investigators discovered a scene of unimaginable violence. They found the body of a young woman who had been subjected to a horrific, sustained physical assault, resulting in severe facial trauma. A close family friend was eventually called upon to identify the body as Lily James. When detectives pulled the school's CCTV footage, the reality of her final moments was laid bare. At 7 p.m. on the night of October 25th, Lily is seen walking toward the bathroom. Seconds later, Paul Thyssen is seen following her inside. An hour's silence follows. Eventually, Paul emerges from the bathroom alone. Lily never walks out of that room. The police tracked Paul's movements through a web of surveillance cameras. At 8:47 p.m., he was seen parking a rental Lexus near Diamond Bay Reserve. Minutes later, he was caught on camera walking toward the cliffs carrying a bag, only to return to his car 8 minutes later, empty-handed. When police searched a nearby industrial trash bin, they found Lily's backpack, her AirPods, and a bloody hammer. It was later discovered that Paul had purchased that hammer from a hardware store just days after Lily ended their relationship. He had also rented a Lexus specifically for that day, despite having his own car, in a calculated attempt to distance himself from the crime. The search for the killer ended 3 days later at The Gap, a notorious cliffside location in Sydney. Construction workers spotted a body in the water, and after a difficult recovery operation involving jet skis and divers, dental records confirmed the remains belonged to Paul. It's believed he called the police to confess his actions before taking his own life. Following the tragedy, a former girlfriend of Paul's revealed that he was a volatile stalker who once punched a tree in a rage because he couldn't punch the one thing he wanted to. Lily's father now refers to him only as an evil monster, refusing to say his name. On November 17th, hundreds gathered for Lily's funeral, wearing bright colors to celebrate her life, while her mother, Peta, continues to advocate for domestic safety even as she battles her own terminal illness.
Have a seat right here in this ambulance.
No, I don't want to sit down.
I don't want to have to make you sit down there. Thank you.
Oh, come on, make.
In this video, we witnessed the aftermath of a horrific multi-car collision caused by a 63-year-old driver named Michelle. This event took place on a highway marked with double yellow lines, where passing is strictly forbidden. Despite the clear warnings, Michelle was traveling at excessive speeds and attempting to overtake more than 10 vehicles at once. As she approached a curve, she encountered an oncoming car and tried to force her way back into her own lane. In doing so, she struck a Subaru, sending it spinning into the path of another vehicle. The impact was so violent that the occupants of the Subaru, a respected couple named Kim and Bet, were trapped inside their crumpled car. While emergency crews worked tirelessly to save them, Michelle was rescued from her own vehicle in a nearby ditch without a single scratch.
Okay. Is anybody in there? Yeah, she is conscious.
That one's getting ready to go.
Go. Okay. The most severe person.
So they both have a faint pulse.
Okay.
I just didn't want to move them because I'm worried about neck injuries or back injuries.
So we got non-responsive faint pulse on the driver's seat. Okay.
So for fire, there's one car down in the ditch that's about or starting to catch on fire.
We got accidental bleeding and everything.
Okay. Okay. Any bleeding or anything anywhere?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just on my arm.
Just your arm. Okay. It doesn't look like it's gushing or anything. Okay.
More pulse. We're gonna lose him.
Do we want to get him out to do it, or?
Stay calm. Follow these instructions. Make sure 911 is called now. Begin by
I'm gonna hand you guys a pad.
Do not touch the patient.
Do not touch. Do not touch.
Please wait. Shock not advised.
Okay.
It is now safe to touch the patient. If needed, perform compressions as instructed.
Okay. How's she?
Okay, so she's getting some tingling in her arms. She wants to move really bad, but we're stabilizing her.
I want you
she
to
has pressure right here, so we cut this right here.
So just you gotta
Her
stay
name is
still,
Kelly,
okay?
and she's doing a good job staying still.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
If I said we have 4 patients in serious. Unfortunately, that is the last. So I don't have an ID right now. Right now, we're just doing the first aid. We'll get to that. If somebody wants to take them to a vet, you're more than welcome, and then we can figure that. I can give you my business card.
You specifically would have to bring them. They
Well,
won't know anyone else. I know,
nobody
I know.
else is coming.
I know.
It won't. Then the dog isn't going to probably make it, unfortunately, because I can't. Hey, let's clear the road. Eight's coming. We're doing two CPRs right over here by that white car. One on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. 80. Let them handle. And then there's one lady. She's over there. Her car's down the ditch. I'm not exactly sure the spot yet, but it's going to be in that area. Just look. Hello.
Hi.
Do you have your driver's license on you?
No, it's. Oh, where is my purse? Oh, do I have it? No. Oh, I'm sorry. It's over here. I think.
Okay, that's fine.
I know it. I wish I could get my stuff
Okay,
out of there. My
we'll get-
diabetes
okay,
tester
yep.
and the food for the food
All right,
bank.
go ahead and have a seat for me. So what happened?
So I'm driving this way, and there was like a big area to pull in. A big area, and I was passing. I passed like 3 cars.
Okay.
And so I turned my turn signal in, and I pulled in, and as I pulled in, this guy slowed way down, and I hit the corner of their car.
Okay.
That's what happened. So, I mean, I know that that's supposed to be my fault, but I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. All right, we're going to sit you down right on here, okay? Come around this other side, see where it bends?
I'm not going to lay down on this, and you're not taking me anywhere.
AOB?
No, I haven't smelled anything.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
I mean, and you know what, and I'll tell you what, I got really good insurance. My insurance doesn't be honest.
You want to give me a driver's license for me?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Initially, Michelle tried to claim that she did nothing wrong and even blamed the other drivers for the crash. I feel terrible for the victims and their families because this entire tragedy was completely avoidable. It's sickening to see someone act so entitled on the road that they prioritize a few minutes at a time over the lives of others.
Why don't you have a seat right here in this ambulance?
No, I don't want to sit down. You know what I want?
Okay, well,
I need to find
what's your
that
first
black
name?
guy
Okay.
because he has a phone that, like, my girlfriend.
Here's the deal. I'm asking you to sit down there. Okay. All right? I don't want to have to make you sit down there. Thank you.
Oh, come on, make me.
No, we don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a
That'll
seat.
be nice on your camera.
Nothing to eat or drink.
I'm drinking a little bit.
No, I just said
fine.
nothing to eat or drink.
You know what? I should have just started walking home.
Well, you can't. Right now, you're not able to leave. You're being lawfully detained. Okay?
Why don't we talk to the, because I saw him, he was slowing down, and so I went way over, I was like on the other side of the road, and I caught the end of him, or the side of the back of him. That's all I know. I don't know what happened after that, or I don't remember flipping him. Then when we stopped, I sure do remember, I had that seatbelt on really tight, and then my chest kind of hurt right here, but I think it's just my boob. But no, I've had nothing to drink. I haven't smoked any pot. I haven't taken any drugs. I don't remember, but I know they were doing 40 miles an hour all the way up this mountain. I mean, all the way down, and I was on like a time thing. I had to get down to Enumclaw. So I went 55, went past them.
So you were passing the cars that were in line?
I know. You know what? I don't want to talk to anybody who's got a lawyer.
Just so you know, you're not free to leave. Just that.
Why?
Just that you're aware. You're detained right now.
Yeah, it's the same thing I told you.
Well,
just given the
you guys got a
situation and
burrito or
everything.
anything to eat?
Like I said, you can't. Like I said, you can't have anything to eat or drink.
Why?
Because,
I got water in my car.
unfortunately, right now you can't have it.
Oh, hey.
All right, go ahead and turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh my God.
You're under arrest for vehicular homicide.
Maybe you should call Jeff. Hey, wait, you better bring my purse.
We'll get all your stuff.
Okay. Don't forget my flag.
Hey, Carol Ann.
What's your name?
Trooper.
What's your first name?
Trooper.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
You're lying to me.
All our first names
Are you recording this? You're lying to me.
No, you're
How am I supposed to trust you?
The scene was filled with chaos as air ambulances arrived to transport the survivors, Jenna and Kelly, who suffered life-threatening spinal and internal injuries. Meanwhile, Michelle complained about police being bossy and was more concerned about her vape and her really good insurance than the people dying nearby. She even joked with the officers while 2 people were being pronounced dead just feet away.
My hands are bad. I'm not going to escape or anything.
There's plenty of space in there.
Your wrists are so small that they turn. We can't do anything about that.
It hurts.
Hey, Sarge, she's saying the handcuffs hurt. Just to let you know.
I'm not going anywhere.
I understand that, but her wrists are so small they just turn into cuffs.
Yeah, she's got plenty of space.
Yeah.
No, I know. It hurts. Look at how tiny it is on the top. Why can't you guys have plastic ones? Some really heavy-duty plastic ones.
Because unfortunately, nobody's compliant.
Oh, okay.
And people break them. We'll break them.
There you go.
Thank
okay?
you.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
What's your name?
Sergeant Brian.
Nice to meet you. Brian, I'm the...
Nice to meet you.
Let's go back to here.
That cop has my vape. Ma'am? That one cop that was at the back of the fire, truck, he took my vape. And he said he'd give it to me when I got out. I want it back.
I can put it in your purse.
Okay, that's fine. Man, I just saw him give them water. Can I please stand outside?
No.
Oh Lord, this is ridiculous. This is bad. I'm telling my lawyer this. You're not so bad, thank you.
What's that?
I said you're not so bad.
Thank you.
Thank you. You should see all the troopers and the fire people. When you walk by them, they all look at your butt and stuff. Yeah. I know. You should just turn around and say, "Bite it." No, maybe they might walk up and bite it then, huh? Went over and prayed for them and stuff, and blessed them and stuff, and they still died. I can't believe it. I thought God would bring His healing hand down and heal them. I feel really bad. I didn't cause this. I know I didn't. How come I'm getting charged with their death?
Because based on the statements of the witnesses and the other cars you passed, you caused the collision. And they died as a result of that collision.
How can someone remain so cold and selfish after causing such destruction? Do you think the legal system failed the victims by allowing her to go home on monitoring? I never liked the idea of sharing the road with people who have a long history of reckless driving. With more than 800 jumps under his belt, Ivan Lester McGuire was a skilled skydiver. However, he made a deadly mistake in April 1988. He took his camera and jumped out of the aircraft while shooting a parachuting instruction at a height of more than 10,500 feet. Only he had overlooked his parachute, another essential piece of gear. A comment on the video said, "When you can see your own death in front of you, it feels terrifying. I would imagine that would indeed be the case." His final words before passing away were, "Oh no." Tragic, I must say. In the dead of night off the coast of the southern Philippines, the MV Tricia Kirsten 3 was cutting through the dark, silent waters. On board, over 350 passengers were setting in for the overnight voyage, unaware that they were sailing toward a catastrophe. Without warning, the vessel began to succumb to the deep. In the pitch black, as the ferry tilted and water began to claim the decks, the calm night erupted into a scene of pure cold terror. While hundreds were eventually pulled from the churning sea, 15 lives were lost in the struggle. But the most haunting part of this tragedy remains the 28 souls still missing in the dark, including a 6-month-old baby whose fate is feared to have been sealed by the unforgiving ocean. As local hospitals became overwhelmed with survivors in shock, rescuers continued to scour the waves, searching for those the sea refused to give back. In this video from a gas station in Fort Nelson, British Columbia, we see the final recorded moments of 23-year-old Lucas Fowler and his girlfriend, Sheena Deeds. On the evening of July 13th, 2019, the couple pulled up in their blue 1986 Chevrolet van to fill the tank. Lucas was a traveler from Sydney, Australia, and Sheena was from North Carolina. They had met in Croatia and were planning a dream road trip to explore the Canadian wilderness and drive all the way to Alaska. Initially, the footage shows a happy couple enjoying their journey together. They embraced before they drove away toward Liard River Hot Springs. However, the next day, their van broke down on the side of the Alaska highway. A passing mechanic offered to help them, but the couple politely declined. They appeared to have the situation under control as they waited for a tow. On the morning of July 15th, their bodies were discovered in a ditch near the van. Both had been struck and killed by gunfire. I feel terrible for their families because these two young ones had their entire lives ahead of them. This is why I always feel a sense of dread when a peaceful trip is met with such senseless violence. The tragedy deepened on July 19th when the body of Leonard Digg was found 470 kilometers away. He was a 64-year-old botany professor from Vancouver who was on a solo camping trip for algae research. He had also been struck by gunfire. A burned-out pickup truck nearby led investigators to 19-year-old Cam McLeod and 18-year-old Briar Schmigelski. The two childhood friends from Vancouver Island had become isolated and obsessed with violent video games. Schmigelski had even showed a disturbing interest in Nazi history. A massive manhunt followed, stretching across 11,000 square kilometers into the Manitoba wilderness. The fugitives were eventually found dead from self-inflicted wounds near the Nelson River. A camera found with them contained 6 videos where they confessed to all 3 murders with zero remorse. They even detailed a plan to hijack a boat and escape to Europe or Africa. They expected to kill more people before they died. It's a somber reminder that some people can be driven to commit terrible acts without any clear motive. How can we as a society better identify young ones who are becoming dangerously isolated? It's a terrifying reality that Leonard, Lucas, and Sheena were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The families of the victims had to wait weeks for answers while the suspects fled across the country. The fear in the local communities was palpable as the search moved through the small towns. Residents were told to lock their doors and stay inside while the fugitives were at large. This level of panic is something no youngster should have to experience in their own home. The confession videos revealed that the killers felt no empathy for the people they struck. They spoke about their crimes as if they were playing a game. This lack of human connection is what allowed them to commit such vile acts against strangers. I feel terrible for the victims because they were targeted for no reason at all. In this video, you can see the final moments of the Seawall ferry, a tragedy that proves knowing your end is near is a true nightmare. On April 16, 2014, there were 476 passengers on board this vessel in South Korea. They were initially unaware that their class trip was about to become a national disaster. During a sharp turn, the ferry suddenly capsized and began to sink into the cold water. Most of the people on board were high school youngsters on a school outing. In the beginning, some of these young ones trusted they would be saved. Some even laughed, not realizing the danger. Others cried as the ship tilted further. Eventually, most of them must have realized they were doomed. I feel terrible that these young ones had to face such terror while the adults in charge failed them. This is why I never like being on deep water without knowing exactly where the life vests are kept. The rescue efforts were slow, disorganized, and completely ineffective. Out of everyone on the ship, 304 people died. Only 172 survivors made it home. This disaster caused massive outrage and exposed deep failures in marine safety and government systems. Investigations found the ship was overloaded with cargo that was not secured correctly. The vessel had also been modified in a way that made it unstable. The captain and crew were later convicted for their roles in the tragedy. The captain was sentenced to 36 years in prison because he chose to abandon his passengers. I cannot imagine the fear those youngsters felt as the people meant to protect them ran away. What sentence would you have given a man who left hundreds of young ones behind to die? In this video from a hospital in Tyler, Texas, we see the dark transition of a place meant for healing into a scene of repetitive tragedy. Initially, the events seemed like medical anomalies. In 2017, 73-year-old James Blanks underwent cardiovascular surgery. While he recovered well at first, he suffered an unexplained stroke and passed away. His wife, Kay, was left searching for answers. 7 months later, 68-year-old Ronald Clark had a similar procedure at the same facility. Again, the surgery went well, but a sudden neurological event took his life. This pattern continued when 47-year-old Christopher Greenway came in for a routine bypass. After he was struck by a sudden medical crisis, a CT scan revealed air bubbles in his brain. I feel terrible for these families because they trusted the medical staff to protect their loved ones. This is why I always feel a bit of anxiety when a routine procedure is met with such a swift and unexplained decline. Hospital executives eventually installed cameras to monitor the rooms. In January 2018, the alarms went off for Joseph Colina. Surveillance footage showed a nurse named William George Davis entering the room briefly just minutes before the alarm. Will was seen walking from a supply room with a syringe in his hand. Less than 2 minutes after he left the room, Joseph suffered massive strokes. In this video by the hospital, we see Will standing at the staff station watching the vitals drop while doing nothing to intervene for nearly 3 minutes. Initially, Will claimed he was only resetting an alarm and flushing a line. However, the medical records and video evidence told a much more sinister story. A specialist examined the waveforms and showed exactly when air was introduced into the arterial lines. Detectives later searched Will's phone and found a disturbing text conversation with someone named Linda. After he told her he was working, she told him to try not to kill anyone. Will replied with a chilling nickname, calling himself the Closer. On his computer, investigators found searches about how to introduce air into IV systems and research on other serial killers. It's a somber reminder that monsters can wear the uniform of a caregiver. After Will was suspended, the unexplained strokes at the hospital stopped immediately. In September 2021, he faced trial and was convicted for the murders of several patients. The judge sentenced him to death for his crimes. In a later interview, Will confessed to even more victims. He described a feeling of power and euphoria that went through his body when he saw the medical teams rush in to help the people he had wounded. He enjoyed the exhilarating rush of the chaos he created. Hospital records now suggest he may have killed up to 12 patients between 2016 and 2018. Every young one and adult who enters a hospital deserves to feel safe. It's unbelievable that a nurse would use this position to take lives instead of saving them. What would you do if you noticed a pattern of accidents during the same person's shift? This case highlights how critical it is for hospitals to have swift and thorough oversight of their staff. We must always look out for our family members when they are in a vulnerable state. The betrayal of the nursing code of ethics in this instance is truly profound and terrifying. Each victim had a family that expected them to return home after their operations. Instead, they were met with a predator hiding in plain sight. The legal process brought some closure, but the pain of such a violation remains for the community in Tyler. Will Davis will face the ultimate penalty for his actions. victims. Yet the hospital must continue to improve its security measures to ensure this never happens again. I hope that the families of the victims can find some peace now that the closer is behind bars. On September 27, 2025 at approximately 2 o'clock in the morning, Buffalo police officers responded to a call described only as unknown trouble. What they encountered was anything but routine. When officers arrived, they found a woman later identified as 38-year-old Cynthia Gilbert, armed with a knife and behaving aggressively. Officers immediately attempted to calm the situation, issuing repeated commands for her to drop the weapon. Gilbert refused. Instead, she began moving toward a small group of people she was known to, pointing the knife directly at them.
Yo, put that down. Put that knife down. Put that knife down. Put the knife down. Buffalo police. Buffalo police. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the f***ing knife. Get over here. Drop the knife. Drop the f***ing knife. I'm not playing with you. He touched me. Do you want to get shot or not? Drop the knife. Drop it. Drop it. Come on, listen. Drop it. Drop the knife. Drop the f***ing knife. Drop the knife. Yo, Marcus, you got a taser? Drop the knife. It's not this serious. Drop it. Drop the knife. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. Listen. Drop the knife and talk to me. Sweetheart, drop the knife and talk to me. You do have the right to back.
He touched me.
Sweetheart, relax, relax.
What you talking about?
Nobody wants to hurt you. Relax. Calm
No,
down.
and then my bitch. And then
Hey,
hell
hey,
no.
hey.
No.
Drop the knife,
No.
sweetheart.
No. No.
We're not. Calm down. Calm down.
Touch me. Stop me.
As the tension escalated, one officer deployed pepper spray in an effort to stop her advance. It didn't work. Gilbert pushed through the spray and lunged forward, stabbing one of the men in the head. In that instant, another officer fired his service weapon, striking Gilbert in the shoulder and stopping the attack. The scene quickly shifted from chaos to emergency response.
Drop it! Oh! Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.
I need to call my dad.
Yo, can you give me the gauze? Can you go to Cali and give me the gauze, please? I got CPR. You got something to help clog it. You got something to help clog it up. Do you have something to clog it up? Did you have something to clog it up? Do you have something to clog it up? Do you have something to clog it up? Can you give me?
Stay safe. Come on. Tell me where. Stay safe.
We get it. We get it. We get it.
Touch me.
Listen. Drop the knife and talk to me.
Just fight back.
Sweetheart, drop the knife and talk to me.
No,
You do have the right to back.
He touched me.
Sweetheart, relax, relax.
What you talking about?
Nobody wants to hurt you.
Over
this way, yo. Drop the knife. All right.
Officers, along with members of the Buffalo Fire Department and EMTs, rendered immediate first aid to both the victim and Gilbert. Both were transported to Erie County Medical Center with injuries that were later confirmed to be non-life-threatening. Gilbert was subsequently arraigned on an indictment charging her with attempted murder and attempted assault. In October of 2025, following a comprehensive review of the incident, Erie County District Attorney Mike Keene ruled that the officers' actions were legally justified and cleared them of any criminal wrongdoing. What began as a vague late-night call ended in seconds of violence, leaving lasting consequences for everyone involved. In this video from a quiet residential street in Glasgow, we witnessed a calculated and cold-blooded attack that occurred in the evening of February 22, 2023 at his home on Nitchill Road. 37-year-old Neil Kenny, also known as Neil Wilson, was spending time with his family. Neil was a father of 3, but he was also one of 6 individuals being actively targeted by serious organized crime gangs operating within Scotland. Initially, the night seemed peaceful, but around 1:15 in the morning on February 23rd, the situation turned deadly. Security cameras captured a gang of men dressed in dark clothing storming Neil's property while armed with a pistol. In a swift and violent motion, the group fired 8 shots in total. Neil was struck repeatedly in the face and head as his family likely listened in horror from inside the house. By the time the Scotland Ambulance Service and police arrived, Neil was gravely injured. He was rushed to Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, but he was pronounced dead shortly after his arrival. I feel terrible for his youngsters because witnessing or being near such a brutal act at home is a trauma that never truly leaves you. This is why I always feel a sense of dread when organized crime brings violence into residential neighborhoods. Investigators identified 7 individuals in connection with the murder: Kieran Marin, Jack Benson, Brendan Balick, Kieran Henry, Michael Monroe, Dale Russell, and Martin McCusker. Police believe these men acted as part of a dangerous gang fueled by greed and a desire to control the drug supply in Glasgow. Surveillance footage proved crucial, showing the trigger man escaping the Nitchill estate on an electric scooter. The 7 men faced roughly 14 serious charges, including murder and multiple attempted murders. When they attended court, none of the men entered a plea, which suggests they're coordinating a defense strategy despite the overwhelming CCTV evidence against them. Executing a father in front of his family crosses a line that even many hardened criminals avoid. It is a somber reminder of the escalation of gang violence in our cities. We now move from the streets of Glasgow to a tragic event that unfolded during a night of social unrest in Omaha, Nebraska. On May 30th, 2020, 22-year-old James Scurlock joined thousands of others to protest the death of George Floyd. Around 11 in the evening, the protesters gathered in the Old Market area near 12th and Harney Street. Earlier that night, buildings had been vandalized, including the Hive Bar owned by 38-year-old Jake Gardner. Video footage showed white demonstrators breaking Gardner's windows at least 30 minutes before the fatal confrontation began. Gardner, an ex-Marine with an expired concealed carry permit, was outside his bar when his elderly father pushed a youngster in the crowd. An unidentified man pushed Gardner's father back to the ground. Gardner then walked up to 2 young black men, including James Scurlock, and accused them of the vandalism. A witness noted that Gardner passed several white people to confront the 2 men, despite the fact that white demonstrators had been the ones breaking windows earlier. Video captured Gardner lifting his shirt to reveal a handgun. As a verbal altercation erupted, Gardner withdrew the weapon. 19-year-old Elena Melendez tackled Gardner from behind to stop him, and as they hit the ground, Gardner fired 2 shots in the air as warning shots. Surveillance then shows Scurlock leaping onto Gardner's back to restrain him. During the struggle, Gardner fired a 3rd shot over his shoulder, and Scurlock was struck in the clavicle. Scurlock was taken to the hospital but did not survive his injuries. Initially, the Douglas County attorney announced that no charges would be filed, ruling that Gardner acted in self-defense. This decision was made within 36 hours, which sparked immediate backlash and led to the Justice for James movement. Activists protested for 36 straight days to symbolize the rush to judgment. Eventually, a grand jury reviewed new evidence, including Gardner's own Facebook messages. On September 15, 2020, they returned an indictment for manslaughter and other felonies. However, before he could face trial, Gardner died by suicide in Oregon. It is a somber ending to a case that left a family and a community searching for accountability. Every young one should be able to protest for what they believe in without fear of losing their life. It's a sunny afternoon in late May in Burbank, California, but a 911 call is about to cast a dark shadow over the day. The caller is identified as a man named Ruben Ramos. He tells the dispatcher that he is armed and planning to open fire on people outside of a Home Depot.
Currently in Burbank, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a shooting. I have a gun too, and I don't want people to get shot, so I'm telling you right now, I got a gun. I'm at the Home Depot. I'm about to get out, bro. You just follow me, man. You're going to get out and I'm just going to start shooting, bro. I have to.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's a good idea, sir. I'd prefer you didn't do that. I've been to that Home Depot. There's a lot of nice people there. I don't think they should be shot.
What did you tell CHP about shooting somebody?
No, this is what I said. I said, look, I got people following me, and they start shooting at me, I'm gonna start shooting back.
Police officers hurried to the parking lot at a quick pace. In this video, you can see the police arrive and find Ramos sitting in the driver's seat of his car.
Hey, buddy, it's the police.
Are you able to step out of the van with your hands up?
No.
He said no.
No, I'm not. No, ma'am, I'm not. I mean, I'm just can't right now.
Because we're trying to help you, sir. I have a few officers there. We want to help you and talk to you about your daughter. We're there to help you. Is there any way you can exit the van with nothing in your hands and your hands up?
Oh, man. No. I mean...
Stay in the car, stay in the car. Stay in the car. Okay, face away from me. Face away from me. Bro, don't do it. Face away from me. Face away from me now. Face away from me. Face away from me. Okay, face away from me. I'm here to talk to you, buddy. I'm here to talk to you. Got one at gunpoint. Hey, face away from me. Face away from me. Face away from me. Hey, don't reach, buddy.
Put your hands up for me. Just put your hands up for me. Standing outside there, driver's license, plate there. Come back and sign up the phone. Hey, all right, let me see your other hand. I can help you, but I need to see your hand. Just show me your hand, man. What's your name? What is it? Spanish or English? ¿Hablo español? Ruben, you speak English? ¿Quieres que te hable español? Man, we're here to help you. Yeah, I'm here to help you, okay? Okay, I want to help you, but I can't help you like this. So, this is what I need to do. I need to see your hands. Put your hands up for me. Is anybody in the van? Okay, put your hands up for me where I can see them. I'm gonna help you. I promise you I'm gonna help you. Just put your hands up for me.
Initially, the encounter is just a verbal exchange, but the situation turns far more dangerous the moment Ramos steps out of the vehicle. He appears to be holding a weapon and takes a threatening posture toward the police. He seems to be aiming a firearm directly at the officers. This aggressive action causes the officers to open fire to protect themselves and the public. Ruben Ramos is struck by the gunfire.
Just keep your hands out just like that. All right, Ruben, this is what we're gonna do next. Ruben, listen to me. Just put your hands up for me. Put your hand, both hands up. Thank you. All right, turn around and face away from me. Ruben, turn around and face away from me. Right there, thank you. Are we ready? Do we have a team? Are we ready? Because he's complying right now.
Yes, Colin? Got it. Yes,
okay, Ruben, start walking back towards the sound of my voice. Okay, lift up your shirt from your collar. Lift up your shirt. Show me your waistband. Okay, start turning. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Stop. Okay, you're gonna start walking back now towards the sound of my voice. Start walking back towards me. Start walking back. Keep coming. You're doing good, man. Keep coming. Walk towards us. Just walk backwards. It's okay.
Again!
Paramedics race to his side to offer medical aid. He is rushed to a nearby trauma center, but he dies from his injuries. I feel terrible for everyone involved because a life was lost in a very chaotic and confusing moment. This is why I always feel uneasy when I see how fast a high-pressure situation can turn deadly. A state review of the case later found that Ramos was not actually holding a gun. The object he brandished was a knife. Because he had called 911 claiming to have a gun, the officers had to rely on that information. This raises a difficult question for the audience. Did the officers act with a response that was too swift, or did they have no other choice? It is a somber reminder that the information given to the police can change the outcome of a confrontation in seconds. Every young one should be taught that words have serious consequences in the real world. I cannot imagine the stress those officers felt believing they were facing a gunman. What would you have done if you were standing in that parking lot? Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.